Apocalypse. In the first 7 days, I frantically stockpile 300 billion in supplies. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51. Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, I am very dissatisfied with this title. Mu Hong snorted, then you will be satisfied with what you call me. Give me some hints. Xiao Fan said, how can I give you a reminder for this kind of thing? Otherwise it would be meaningless. I gave you a reminder, and you follow it. I don't have any expectations, and I don't have any novelty. Mu Hong held back for a long time and said, good man, it's okay. Xiao Fan laughed loudly, barely, but it's too ordinary. Mu Hong was dissatisfied and protested, you don't want me to call you big brother, do you? But I really can't say it, so just let me go this time, please. Su Xia jokingly said, hey, Mr. Xiao is pretty good, I think. This is the first time my younger sister has acted like a baby. I, as an older sister, have never seen it before. Xiao Fan then smiled and said, for Sister Xia's sake, I will forgive you this time. I really have news about your sister. Your sister is now a travel blogger. She seems to be in our area now. There will be a live broadcast of travel in the city, and there will be a live broadcast of her at 8 o'clock tonight. Mu Hong immediately became excited and said, good husband, I really thank you. You can let me do anything in the future. I want to contact her now. I want to contact my sister, and I will find her soon. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Sister Hong, you don't need to be so excited. Don't be in a hurry. Some things don't make sense. Why don't we wait for your sister to broadcast live tonight? Let's judge what she is such a personality and temper, and then we decide what kind of method to contact her. Isn't it safer? Su Xiao also said, Mr. Xiao is very pertinent. You are so excited and enthusiastic, but you don't know what your sister is thinking now. If you scare her away from this city, you can find her again. It's going to be hard for her. Xiao Fan continued, you go back to your bar with Sister Xia first, and I will deal with some things first. After I finish, I will pick you up. Then we will find the location of your sister's live broadcast according to the background of your sister's live broadcast. When the time comes it's impossible for her to miss you. Mu Hong finally nodded, and had to say that what Xiao Fan said was very reasonable, and it was also a very safe method. She really doesn't know how much her sister accepts her now. If she contacts her rashly, she may really scare her away. Xiao Fan added, in addition, I still have some things to tell you. You must keep everything that happened today absolutely confidential, and you must not disclose it to anyone, including after meeting your sister. Tell her what happened between us. Mu Hong hurriedly said, don't worry, Sister Xia and I both know the seriousness of this matter, and we will never reveal a single word to anyone. We will never mention this matter again, and we will treat it as if it happened today. Everything has never happened before. Su Xiao also hastily stated, don't worry, Mr. Xiao, I will never bring up what happened today again. It is already a kindness to me for you to let Mu Hong accept me, let alone return my freedom. If I hurt you again, then I'm really not alone. Xiao Fan smiled and said, Sister Xia, the matter is not as serious as you said, but we can save a lot of trouble if we don't disclose what happened today to others, not to mention that you and Sister Hong are like sisters. And our first time you took such good care of me when we met. No matter how you look at it, it is right to help you. After sending Mu Hong and Su Xia back to the bar, Xiao Fan drove away. He first went to his own warehouse to receive the goods, and a huge amount of supplies were delivered to his warehouse. This is the most important thing, absolutely not if there is any delay. If the interstellar iron beetle suddenly arrives, it will be a huge waste of these materials. Then I went to the company to meet Hu Miao and the others. These women worked hard for him. If he didn't even show his face, it would be unjustifiable, especially Hu Miao actually needed his emotional comfort. Zhang Weilin has already met Hu Miao. Although Hu Miao didn't say anything, he must have thoughts in his heart, so he needs to have a good talk with Hu Miao. If there is a small flame of jealousy in Hu Miao's heart, she must extinguish it in advance, otherwise, the big event will definitely be delayed. He was supposed to do this job yesterday, but various things made him unable to do so, so he had to postpone it until now. Fortunately, Hu Miao was too busy with time. Although she saw Zhang Weilin, she didn't take it too seriously, and she didn't think too much about other places, and no one deliberately reminded her, so until now Hu Miao still thinks that Zhang Weilin appeared yesterday, just to trade with Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan decided to hide it temporarily. It might be unkind to do so, but now is an extraordinary period, and there are still 4 days before the end of the world. It is the best choice to hide it. Xiao Fan chatted with Hu Miao for a while and then left, and then made a phone call with Zhang Weilin. Zhang Weilin didn't have any troubles, so Xiao Fan felt relieved, but Qiao Yun and Yang Yunlin were not there. They all went to help Fang Lin go to the underground laboratory to help. Fang Lin understands what will happen better than others, so her sense of urgency is stronger than anyone else, so she pulls Lin Xiaoxiao and the others to help herself. Of course, Fang Lin's strong sense of urgency is not a bad thing for Xiao Fan, but a good thing. After Xiao Fan arranged everything properly, she went to find Mu Hong again. The most important task today is to help Mu Hong find her sister completely. Mu Hong's significance to Xiao Fan is also very important, almost as important as Yu Wenli, or even more important. Both of them can ensure the awakening of powerful abilities, and after they are completely subdued, they will become their right-hand assistants in the last days. It will also become your very close partner. The end of the world is very lonely and cruel, and you need someone to fight side by side and also need someone to accompany you. It's just that I don't know what happened to Yu Wenli. This woman got her own real estate company. Is she planning how to show her talents with a very excited heart? Thinking of this, Xiao Fan smiled wickedly again. This woman will not be happy for a few days, so I will not go to her for a few days. Let her spend the last few days of peace happily. Chapter 52 The Surrender of the Interstellar Iron Beetle. Mu Hong was in a very restless mood because of the news about her sister, and kept flipping through all her sister's videos. The more I look at it, the more I am convinced that this is really my sister. Compared with the photos of my beauty, it is exactly the same as myself. Su Xiao was also very happy for her good sister. Seeing Xiao Fan, Mu Hong said excitedly, I really don't know how to thank you this time. Xiao Fan originally wanted to take this opportunity to tease Mu Hong, but when she saw Su Xiao at the side, she could only hold back and said solemnly, Sister Hong, you can thank me after you and your sister are truly reunited. Eat a feast made by yourself. Mu Hong nodded and replied, Don't worry, I will thank you very much when the time comes. If you want to eat a meal I made by myself, I can make it for you now. Xiao Fan really felt a little hungry, so he said, There is still some time for your sister to live broadcast, then I will try Sister Hong's handicraft. Mu Hong went to cook happily, and Su Xiao also went to get busy with her. Xiao Fan sat on the sofa alone and began to close his eyes to meditate. Suddenly, there seemed to be a voice in his ear. That's right, it was the voice of the interstellar iron beetle that had communicated with him. Human, I am still using our special voice communication method to contact you. Don't feel any surprise. This time I contacted you only for one thing. I got the latest instructions from my boss. I hope you can accept our proposal, Xiaoan. We regard this planet as our incubation base. Maybe we can achieve better results with your cooperation. Human beings, you have therefore obtained an extremely precious opportunity. I hope you can grasp it. Xiao Fan felt very shocked deep down in his heart. The last time the damned interstellar iron beetle contacted him was still in the past, because he had just killed his companion at that time. He is also likely to be hiding somewhere on the scene, but what happened this time? How did he contact him now? If he can contact him anytime and anywhere, does that mean that his every move is under his surveillance? Thinking of this, Xiao Fan couldn't help but feel a chill running down his back. Xiao Fan tentatively asked, How on earth did you get in touch with me, human? You actually want to test my secrets? This is absolutely impossible. We won't let you know any secrets about us until you decide to pledge allegiance to us. Xiao Fan couldn't get the answer he wanted, but felt even more confused. Although he came back from the end of the world, he had never experienced such a situation. He could hear what he said, and let the other party say what he said. He heard it himself, but he had no idea how the other party did it. This makes people feel worried. Suddenly Xiao Fan had a bold guess and asked, Even if you don't tell me, I know your secret. The interstellar iron beetle did not respond. It seemed to be waiting for Xiao Fan to continue talking. Xiao Fan continued, Is it because I carry your companion's corpse with you, so you can contact me anytime and anywhere? In fact, you are not contacting me, but your companion's corpse. That is to say, in your interstellar between the iron beetles, You can use your own body-specific skills to communicate directly without using any equipment. Humans, you are really very smart. I didn't expect you to find the answer you wanted so quickly. It really shocked me. Maybe I should change my view of you humans as lower creatures. Some of you people's IQ is still very high, such as you. Xiao Fan also got the answer he wanted from the words of the interstellar iron beetle. He really didn't want to continue to entangle with this interstellar iron beetle, because he was an extremely proud Xiao Fan. How could he swear allegiance to a ridiculous insect? To be a dog for a bug, it would be better to kill him directly. So Xiao Fan sneered, then the conversation between us can end, and you can also report to your superior, saying that I have rejected your request. As a noble human being, I, Xiao Fan, will never. I might give you a worm as a dog. Human, do you really want to reject our request so hastily? I advise you to think carefully. This is your only chance to survive. Do you really not want it? Xiao Fan said contemptuously. I will live in my own way. I will choose to kill you all. That is my choice. You are shameless, so just wait for destruction. The interstellar iron beetle's voice never sounded again. He was really enraged by Xiao Fan. At this time, Su Xia came in with a dish in her hand. Xiao Fan looked at it speechlessly. From this dish, it can be judged that neither Mu Hong nor Su Xia, these two beautiful women, can cook of, because the dish in Su Xia's hand is a cold dish, which is a very common patted cucumber, but the patted cucumber is uglier than a dog's nod, and after sprinkled with salt, he didn't know how to mix it. The salt just covered it like that on top of the cucumbers. It was like the cucumbers had been beaten with frost. Xiao Fan coughed and asked, Sister Xia, what is Sister Huang cooking? I suddenly feel like I'm not hungry anymore, and it's only half an hour until 8 o'clock. Why don't we watch the live broadcast? Su Xia chuckled and said, Mr. Xiao, I think your proposal is very good. Mu Hong is worrying in the kitchen. She really doesn't know what to do. What's more important is that she only has 2 cucumbers in the refrigerator, and there are some fruits. Those fruits can only be used as a fruit salad, otherwise we can just order takeaway. Xiao Fan nodded hurriedly and said, Miss Xia's suggestion is very good. We will order takeaway now instead of making fruit salad. Su Xia laughed and said, actually, these 2 cucumbers are for sticking to your face. After Su Xia finished speaking, she couldn't help laughing out loud. Xiao Fan went to the kitchen by herself to sneak back Mu Hongti, who was worrying, and then started ordering takeaway. In fact, if Su Xia hadn't been there, he could have taken out some of the Mingyuhuan delicacies stored in his power space. It's just that because of Su Xia's scruples, he doesn't want to do this. Mu Hong, who was liberated, immediately felt a lot more relaxed. She was really worried just now, and felt that there were a few crow's feet on her face. The takeaway has just been delivered, and it's time for Mu Hong's sister's live broadcast. Mu Hong doesn't have the heart to eat at all, and immediately starts watching the live broadcast. In the live video, Mu Hong's younger sister in denim looks very refreshing. Chapter 53 The Game of the Interstellar Iron Beetle. Mu Hong looked at the background behind her sister and asked, Did you two see where this is? Su Xia said, It seems to be in a park, but I really can't tell where it is. At this time, I heard Sister Mu Hong start talking to the camera. Families, welcome to Xiao Ying's live broadcast room. All family members know the rules of Xiao Ying's live broadcast room. Interesting facts about traveling. Xiao Fan looked at the number of fans in the live broadcast room, and there were only more than 1,000. Although Xiao Ying looked very beautiful, it was probably because her live broadcast was too boring. The number of fans was really limited. It can also be seen from her short videos that she doesn't seem to know any talents. Most of the short videos are selfies of herself watching the scenery. Maybe this is also the reason why she has been unable to get angry. Xiao Fan said, I can't see where this is. Why don't you just ask her? Mu Hong asked back, but how should I ask her? What if she doesn't want to answer our questions? Will it make her feel very unhappy and won't talk to us anymore? Xiao Fan sighed lightly. This is the so-called chaos. Xiao Fan took out his mobile phone to find the live broadcast room and spoke directly. Xiao Ying, the place where you live broadcast looks very familiar to me, but I can't remember where it is for a while. Can you tell me? I won't let you answer the question in vain. Big brother, I will definitely give you a big reward. Xiao Ying was indeed attracted by Xiao Fan's speech, but before she could answer, a fan said sarcastically, Hey, Xiao Ying, Someone said that they would give you a big gift as a reward. It seems that since you live broadcast, the biggest gift is just a big firework worth 100 yuan. Immediately afterwards, another fan said, Xiao, you really can't make money as an anchor by doing this. If you really want to make money from this, you have to play well and make good use of your good looks. Let Big Brother give you the #1 spot on the list. You know how to repay the top brother. Behind the speech is still a nasty picture of drooling. Mu Hong looked very angry, and said directly, who said that the anchor can't make money like this? I will let you see if the anchor can receive a gift right now. Did you, that idiot just now, want to be #1 on the list? Do you want to compare with me to see if you have the strength to be the #1? What an idiot. After finishing speaking, Mu Hong started to buy presents for her younger sister. The most expensive big rocket worth 10,000 yuan in a row was 10 rounds. This made Xiao confused. She had never been so popular in her live broadcast room. The fan who spoke just now said again, Xiao, are you planning to spend your own money to create a sensation for yourself? I don't believe that if you didn't direct and perform yourself, someone would give you such an expensive gift, and it is almost impossible to brush so many at once. Xiao Fan said, if you haven't seen it, it only proves that you have little experience. Now let you see what is the big scene. Xiao Fan directly spawned 100 rockets. The live broadcast room was stunned at that time. One rocket after another, one after another. This is still a grand event that has never happened before. Xiao Fan is of course using this method to save face for Xiao, but in the end it is still for Mu Hong. But at this moment, Xiao Fan heard the voice of that damn interstellar iron beetle again. Human, you seem to be very interested in that woman in your phone. I know you are trying to please her, and you want to know her where? Why don't we just make a game? Let's find this woman at the same time, and see who finds her first. If you find him first, this woman can survive. If I get her first, if I find it, I will implant the eggs of our interstellar iron beetle in her stomach. It must be very interesting. Xiao Fan was taken aback. The secret between the interstellar iron beetles is definitely not as simple as he thought. This damned interstellar iron beetle can use the corpse of its companion to spy on itself. This is really hateful, but soon Xiao Fan figured it out. The interstellar iron beetle is not monitoring his every move. The interstellar iron beetle does not have this ability, but the interstellar iron beetle can create an electromagnetic storm like a dark cloud, so he must also be careful about himself. Electronic products around you can interfere. In other words, he can use his special ability to monitor his mobile phone. Xiao Fan immediately figured out the stakes. The interstellar iron beetle is using its own advantages to constantly show how it is in the upper hand, and wants to hit Xiao Fan's psychology with this. But he doesn't know that he is doing this, and it just gives Xiao Fan a chance to let Xiao Fan fight against them. The iron beetle also has a deeper understanding. Xiao Fan also used the brand new understanding of the interstellar iron beetle that he had obtained to dig a lot of holes for the interstellar iron beetle in the future, and dealt him many devastating blows. This is the evil result of his actions that this self-righteous interstellar iron beetle will never think of. Xiao Fan said to Mu Hong and Su Xia, you two are watching the live broadcast here. I'll get Xiao back to see you. Mu Hong hurriedly said, I want to go with you. Xiao Fan said very resolutely, Mu Hong, you must listen to me. Something special has happened. So this time I can only go by myself. If you believe me, just wait at home with peace of mind. I'm back. Mu Hong has never seen Xiao Fan so serious. From his extremely firm eyes, he knew that something very serious must have happened. Thinking about Xiao Fan's miraculous methods, Mu Hong knew Xiao Fan it must be very difficult to encounter a situation, and it can only be a burden to force yourself to follow. So Mu Hong said with concern, then you must be very careful. You must come back quickly and safely. I will wait for you here. Xiao Fan nodded and left in a hurry. He must stay away from Mu Hong and Su Xia now, and stay with him. Maybe he will really get involved with them too. Xiao Fan walked out of the bar and said, I know you must be able to hear me. Now you listen to me. If you have anything to do, come to me. Don't attack an innocent girl. Ha ha ha. I can only tell you that our drama has already begun, and your time is running out. When we interstellar iron beetles chose this planet as our incubation base, everything on this planet had nothing to do with it. One is innocent. Chapter 54 Battle of Wisdom and Bravery Interstellar Iron Beetle. So Xiao Fan said, since your game has already started, but after all you also said that this is a game, we still have to talk about the rules of the game. Human, you can tell me what kind of rules you want. I am in a very good mood. Maybe I will promise you Of course Xiao Fan would not believe his nonsense. How could he be in a good mood? He must have hated himself to death. The reason why he tortured himself in this way was because he didn't dare to find himself in a face-to-face decisive battle, because he has no confidence in defeating himself at all, but he was extremely annoyed by his refusal to surrender just now, so he took this despicable method to torture himself. So Xiao Fan said, "You don't have to be so hypocritical. I know that you are doing this just to vent your anger and want to torture me to vent your anger. But let me tell you the truth, the girl you saw on my mobile phone, for to me, it is not as important as you think. If you are really unscrupulous in the process of playing with me, I will immediately stop the game between us, and you don't want to torture me again." The interstellar iron beetle fell into silence, and asked after a while, "Then tell me what kind of rules you want." Xiao Fan sneered, "The rule I want is very simple, that is, until you find that girl, you must never conduct indiscriminate attacks." The interstellar iron beetle responded, "Very well, I can agree to your request." Xiao Fan has indeed controlled his psychology very well. The interstellar iron beetle is taking revenge on Xiao Fan at this time, and he is really not sure about killing Xiao Fan head-on. Chance to kill Xiao Fan, this is the fundamental purpose of his game. Of course, in his opinion, the so-called dominant game is just that he thinks he is leading the game. In fact, whether he is leading or not depends on his strength. Xiao Fan sneered, "Then our game really starts from this moment." Xiao Fan didn't dare to use any electronic devices anymore, because they might be monitored. He could only recall the background screen that appeared behind Xiao Ying's live broadcast just now. It must be a park, and the park is open at night. Xiao Fan began to think hard, what kind of park would this be? As a travel anchor, Xiao Ying will never go to an unknown small park, so this park is either very unique or relatively famous. Suddenly, the name of a park appeared in Xiao Fan's mind, Qingyuan Lake Park. It is a very distinctive park. It is also open to the public at night, and it seems to be a place for internet celebrities to check in. Xiao Ying should be in Qingyuan Lake Park, so Xiao Fan immediately drove to Qingyuan Lake Park. At this time, Xiao Fan remembered the voice of the interstellar iron beetle again. "Human, do you know the specific advantage I have over you? That is, I can fly high in the sky, and my pair of the eyes can automatically search and compare the pictures I see on your mobile phone. If you want to compete with me faster, in your human words, it is simply a firefly delusion and the sun and the moon competing for glory. But I will definitely let you see that living girl." But when you saw her, I had implanted my eggs in her stomach. Ha ha ha. Xiao Fan knew that the interstellar iron beetle was deliberately irritating himself, which was part of the psychological warfare. He was deliberately stirring up his mentality, making himself irritable and irritable, so that he would have a better chance to deal with himself. So Xiao Fan sneered, "It seems that you think you are very smart, but I have to tell you a cruel fact. Every word you said to me, everything you did to me was deeply remembered by me. It's in my head." The interstellar iron beetle snorted coldly and said, "Even if you write it down, so what?" Xiao Fan deliberately provoked him. "Before you did these things to me, before you said these words, I actually knew very, very little about you interstellar iron beetles. But through your self-righteous stupid behavior, I know you. I understand more and more thoroughly. Do you know what this means? What does it mean?" The interstellar iron beetle's voice became extremely dignified, because he also realized that he had indeed made a stupid mistake. Xiao Fan decided to further deliberately stimulate him. "It means that as long as I can continue to live, I can tell more people the secrets of your interstellar iron beetles, and you will have more and more advantages over us, less so that one day we will completely defeat you, and even completely destroy you." Xiao Fan is showing strength. The purpose is also very simple. It is to divert the attention of the interstellar iron beetle. If the interstellar iron beetle really has this search ability as he said, it will be really terrible. Compared with him, it is impossible for Xiao Fan to win. That is to say, Xiao Ying must be found by the interstellar iron beetle first, and the fate is self-evident. It must be very tragic. So Xiao Fan wants to track all the firepower of the interstellar iron beetle to himself, completely irritate him, make him completely lose his mind, give up the game he wants to play, and desperately find him Xiao Fan, and Xiao Fan fights to the death. This is Xiao Fan's real plan. In fact, the interstellar iron beetle was completely irritated by Xiao Fan. He suppressed his anger and asked calmly, "Human, I know you want to piss me off completely. But I won't let your wishful thinking succeed. You said you passed my what you have done, knowing many secrets of our interstellar iron beetles. I know you are just bragging. Xiao Fan knew that this self-righteous guy was testing him. How many secrets did he know about them? But Xiao Fan didn't intend to hide it, because Xiao Fan couldn't really attract his firepower if he didn't come up with some real materials. So he said, "First of all, I know that you interstellar iron beetles can do it without any equipment. Communicate with each other. Second, I know that you interstellar iron beetles can use similar bodies or corpses to monitor the surrounding electronic equipment. Third, I also know that your interstellar iron beetles have special ability to search for targets. Fourth, I also know that not every interstellar iron beetle is a warrior. For example, you are a cowardly fellow. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55, Planning Success. Sure enough, Xiao Fan's personal attack achieved good results, and the interstellar iron beetle was furious. The interstellar iron beetle claims to be a higher-level creature, but now he's so looked down upon by a low-level creature that he looks down on, which seriously hurts his self-esteem and makes him unable to bear it anymore. He roared, "Human, you have angered me very successfully. I have decided to change the game between us now. Why don't we directly have a face-to-face contest?" Xiao Fan sneered, "I'm worried that you just talk about it, but in fact you don't dare to face me." The interstellar iron beetle roared, "You are as cowardly as a mouse. I will go find you now. After I find you, I will tear you to pieces, and I will kill all the people around you. I will let you die. You know how terrible the price of offending me is." Xiao Fan sneered in his heart, "Idiot, you killed me, and then you kill the people around me. What's the point? Will I know how cruel you are after I die, idiot?" Of course, Xiao Fan can only complain about this sentence deep in his heart. He will not say it, since the opponent is an idiot. Let your opponent become an even more idiot instead of awakening your opponent. Xiao Fan then changed his driving direction. His goal was no longer Qinghai Lake Park, but a remote place in the outskirts. The interstellar iron beetle flies high in the sky. Although he can sense the existence of his companion's corpse, because the companion's corpse is stored in Xiao Fan's supernatural space, he cannot use the companion's corpse to locate Xiao Fan's specific location. He can only use his memory of Xiao Fan's appearance to compare and find Xiao Fan in the vast crowd. In fact, Xiao Fan has always had a guess. This guy not only has a special search ability but also should have a positioning ability, but in fact he cannot locate himself because his own supernatural space interferes with his positioning, not the interstellar space. The iron beetle has no positioning function. In order to verify his conjecture, Xiao Fan deliberately said, "Is there no way for you to find my location now? How about I tell you my location? It will save you a lot of time." The interstellar iron beetle snorted coldly, "Then tell me your location, tell me quickly." Xiao Fan sneered, "It seems that you really have no way to accurately locate me. Hey, is the positioning function of your interstellar iron beetle really so bad? To be honest, it makes me feel a little incredible." The interstellar iron beetle said furiously, "If my companion is still alive, or you haven't used special means to interfere with my companion's corpse, I would have found you through positioning." Xiao Fan didn't speak anymore. He was able to fully confirm that the interstellar iron beetles do have a positioning function for each other, but their own supernatural space can effectively interfere with their mutual positioning. It's just a pity that my supernatural space can only store inanimate objects at present. Otherwise, I can take the interstellar iron beetles into my supernatural space and let them get lost in my supernatural space forever. This time I entered the end of the world again. I don't know if there is a chance to upgrade my ability space. Maybe the upgraded ability space can store living things. The interstellar iron beetle couldn't hear Xiao Fan's answer for a long time. Of course, he didn't know Xiao Fan's mental state at this time, and thought that Xiao Fan was deliberately playing tricks on himself just now, so he got angry again. He roared angrily, "You cowardly fellow, don't you dare to tell me your location at all, and you just made fun of me by saying such big words." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "I found that you are not only a stupid interstellar iron beetle, but also a very impatient interstellar iron beetle. I am afraid that no one will be afraid of you. I will tell you a place where you go find me. Remember that it is a small mountain in the east direction. At the foot of the mountain is a large forest. The most obvious sign is a towering ancient pagoda, very easy to find. I will catch up within an hour. Arrive, human. You are not deliberately deceiving me. Let me wait there for nothing. I will go there to wait for you, but if you do not arrive within the time you said, I will put the city you are in complete destruction. I want all your relatives and friends in the city to die." Xiao Fan hated him so much, he really had enough of this damn bastard's threats again and again, so he said coldly, "I will arrive there in 30 minutes, you wait for me to die. But you'd better start looking for that place right now, don't wait until I arrive and you haven't found it yet. Give me another chance to call you an idiot." The interstellar iron beetle roared, "I will wait there for you to die." The interstellar iron beetle high in the sky quickly formed a picture in his mind based on the landform feature Xiao Fan described to himself, which was exactly the same as the photo of the place Xiao Fan mentioned. Then the interstellar iron beetle's eyes began to look in the direction of the due east, scanning continuously, and soon he found the precise location, and quickly flew towards the ancient tower. It has to be said that the interstellar iron beetle, as a more evolved creature, possesses much stronger abilities than humans, but humans are also accelerating their evolution very quickly. For example, if humans now obtain the crystal nucleus of the interstellar iron beetle, they can integrate into their own hearts and awaken their abilities, although not everyone has the opportunity to awaken the ability, but after all, human beings have the ability to fight against the interstellar iron beetle because they can awaken the ability, otherwise there will be no hope of surviving. Xiao Fan has ignored the traffic lights and the speed limit, and has been speeding desperately along the way. He also wants to find that damned interstellar iron beetle as soon as possible, and then kill him quickly and take out his crystal nucleus. Xiao Fan's plan has also changed now. If he can kill another interstellar iron beetle, he can get 2 interstellar iron beetle crystal nuclei, which will help Yu Wenli and Mu Hong awaken their abilities in advance. The current situation has completely changed. The interstellar iron beetle has already targeted him before the end of the world, so he can no longer wait for Yu Wenli and Mu Hong to awaken their abilities after the end of the world. It seems that Xiao Fan is too much pedantic. If the interstellar iron beetle knew that Xiao Fan was planning on his crystal nucleus, he would definitely be so angry. In this way, 2 opponents who are calculating each other and want to kill each other as soon as possible are approaching quickly. Chapter 56 Killing with One Blow. The interstellar iron beetle couldn't wait to kill him, but Xiao Fan was more eager than him. The interstellar iron beetle saw Xiao Fan's car. He didn't intend to give Xiao Fan any chance. He opened his mouth wide and shot the corrosive liquid at Xiao Fan's car like a sharp arrow. If Xiao Fan's car is hit by this corrosive liquid, it can be corroded into liquid instantly, and Xiao Fan sitting in the car will also be corroded and turned into liquid. However, Xiao Fan, as a reborn soldier, is very familiar with the methods of the interstellar iron beetle, and he has been prepared for a long time. Flew out of the car window. At the same time, he took out a bone spear from his supernatural space, pointed it at the interstellar iron beetle, and threw it viciously. The 2 of them met with killer moves, and none of them hesitated or held back. When the corrosive liquid hit Xiao Fan's car, the bone spear thrown by Xiao Fan also stabbed the interstellar iron beetle. It's just that the interstellar iron beetle died, and what Xiao Fan lost was only a car. Xiao Fan rolled for a long time. He stood up from the ground, and he walked towards the corpse of the interstellar iron beetle step by step, then pull out the bone spear. Without hesitation, he dug open the corpse of the interstellar iron beetle, and took out the crystal nucleus inside. Then he took out the corpse of another interstellar iron beetle from his supernatural space, and also took out the crystal nucleus. These 2 crystal nuclei are of special importance to him. Xiao Fan will use them to help Yu Wenli and Mu Hong awaken their abilities. For the corpse of the interstellar iron beetle, he planned to completely decompose it, take out the bones to make bone spears, and decompose the other parts piece by piece. Xiao Fan didn't know if it would be useful for him to do this, if he could prevent the interstellar iron beetle from sensing the existence of the corpse, but he had no better way now, so he could only try this way. If Fang Lin didn't need these corpses for research, he wouldn't even bring them into his supernatural space, because no one wants to let the interstellar iron beetle monitor themselves. Xiao Fan took out his mobile phone at this time. He needed to see if Xiao Ying's live broadcast was still going on. He promised Mu Hong to bring her sister back. Since he made the promise, he must do it. Xiao Fan saw that the live broadcast was still going on, and the number of fans in Xiao Ying's live broadcast room had skyrocketed to more than 10,000. Xiao Ying kept asking, "The friend who gave me gifts just now, are you there? I don't understand why you swiped such an expensive gift from me, and you swiped so many at once? Mu Hong had heard his sister's question a long time ago, but she still didn't know how to answer him, so he simply chose to remain silent. Xiao Fan said, I'm still here. Do you really want to know why I give you so many gifts? Xiao Ying saw Xiao Fan's speech right away, because she had been staring at the comment area, and she immediately responded, I'm really curious, can you tell me why? Xiao Fan said, I can tell you why, but I can't tell you here. I will tell you a place. If you are willing to go, I can tell you the answer. If you are not willing to go, forget it. Mu Hong looked at Xiao Fan's speech and said nervously, will Xiao Fan's words make Xiao Ying give up exploring the answer? Su Xia smiled and said, I think you are really nervous, sister. I think Mr. Xiao has done a good job and fully utilized your sister's curiosity. Haven't you seen that since Mr. Xiao finished giving gifts, your sister I keep asking who sent the presents? Why are there so many presents? There's a momentum of not giving up until the goal is achieved. And Mr. Xiao took full advantage of her curiosity. I think your sister will definitely be hooked. Sure enough, Xiao Ying, who was silent for a while, said, then tell me the location and I will go find you right now. So Xiao Fan said the name of Changhong Bar, and then Xiao Ying ended the live broadcast directly. Xiao Fan called an online car-hailing car and decided to go straight back to Changhong Bar. When Xiao Fan came back to the bar, Xiao Ying had already arrived. Xiao Fan went directly to Mu Hong's room and saw the twin sisters crying like a pair of tearful people. Not only did Xiao Ying not reject her sister, but she was also very close to her sister. It turned out that when Xiao Ying was a teenager, she knew that she had no blood relationship with her parents, and her relationship with her adoptive parents was not good, so she left home early and started to live independently. After doing a lot of work, I finally chose to be a travel anchor, but they were all unsuccessful. Mu Ying was also very excited and happy to meet her own sister this time, and she was extremely grateful to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan waited for the pair of sisters who had just met to talk about the pain of missing them, and hit them. Xiao Fan said to Mu Hong, Sister Hong, there are some things I want to talk to you alone immediately. Mu Hong didn't know what Xiao Fan was going to say to her, but seeing what he said was so serious, Mu Hong nodded her head in agreement without any delay. Mu Ying said, Mr. Xiao, I just found my sister, and you want to snatch my sister away. It's so unfair. Xiao Fan smiled and said, don't worry, I won't take your sister away, I will return your sister to you soon. Of course, Mu Ying said this only as a joke on purpose, and she will not really force her sister to stay. Mu Hong led Xiao Fan out of the room, and Xiao Fan said, do you have a room with very good sound insulation here? Mu Hong misunderstood Xiao Fan's meaning. Her pretty face couldn't help but blushed and said, it doesn't need to be so troublesome, just wait a while and just hold back and keep silent. Xiao Fan blurted out without thinking, it will be very painful after a while, I'm worried that you won't be able to bear it. I'd better find a room with a very good sound insulation effect to rest assured. Mu Hong said to himself, don't worry, I said you can bear it if you can bear it, and you will definitely not make a sound. Last night was the first time for him. Didn't you feel any special pain? How could it be now? Do you feel any special pain? Only then did Xiao Fan realize that Mu Hong had misunderstood her meaning, and said with a smile, what are you thinking in your head? I am not going to do what you think. I have a very important matter that I need absolutely great room with great soundproofing. It was only then that Mu Hong realized that she had misunderstood Xiao Fan's words, and her blushing cheeks looked even more charming now, just like a red apple in autumn. Chapter 57 Mu Hong, the Awakening of Ability. Then he entered the wine room and said, it's very quiet here, and the sound insulation is very good. What are you going to do? Can you tell me? Xiao Fan looked at Mu Hong and said seriously, Mu Hong, there is one very important thing, I must let you know now. The methods you saw me before are actually my abilities. Mu Hong nodded and replied, actually, I have thought of these too. Even if you don't tell me, I can roughly guess the same. Xiao Fan continued, but this is not the secret I want to tell you. What I really want to tell you is that I can also help you and let you have your own abilities. Mu Hong stared round her beautiful eyes. She couldn't believe her ears. Could it be that she can also have such a means? This is something she can't even imagine. Xiao Fan continued, but this is a very painful process of transformation. During this process, you will experience hellish suffering. Are you willing to endure such painful suffering? Mu Hong nodded firmly and said, as long as it is something you ask me to do, no matter how much pain I endure, I will do it." When Xiao Fan heard Mu Hong's words, she was very moved. She couldn't help but gently rubbed her hair and said, "Mu Hong, then you should awaken your abilities. If during this process, if you can't bear this pain, you can shout it out loud. After you awaken the power, I have something more important to tell you." Mu Hong nodded, and suddenly asked again, "Can my younger sister and sister Xia awaken their abilities? I have no other intentions. It's just that I feel that you seem to have a very powerful enemy of your own. If we can all awaken abilities, we can all be your helpers." Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "Not everyone can awaken the ability. Once the awakening ability fails, there is only one dead end. At present, I can only grasp the awakening ability that can make you safe." Mu Hong nodded and said, "Then let's start." Xiao Fan took out a blue crystal clear gemstone from his supernatural space. Of course, this is not a gemstone, but the crystal nucleus taken out from the body of the interstellar iron beetle. Mu Hong looked at the crystal nucleus in Xiao Fan's hand in amazement, and couldn't help admiring, "It's so beautiful." Xiao Fan laughed and said, "This is not as simple as being beautiful. It hides a very terrifying energy, and it can fuse with your heart. After the fusion, you will feel supernatural powers. But the fusion process is long and painful." Mu Hong replied very firmly, "No matter how painful it is, I will never give up." Xiao Fan gently blocked her mouth, and then began to force her slowly. It lasted for a full 3 minutes before Xiao Fan retracted her mouth. Then Xiao Fan said, "Then let's start now. Close your eyes, it's best not to think about anything." Mu Hong's beautiful big eyes slowly closed, and Xiao Fan whispered in her ear, "I will put this crystal nucleus on your chest, let him feel your heart beating, and it turns into an energy beam that slowly penetrates your body and enters your heart. Then it starts to fuse with your heart." Mu Hong nodded lightly. Xiao Fan continued, "The length of fusion time depends on how fast your heart can absorb these energies. If you are fully mentally prepared, I will start." Mu Hong nodded slightly for the last time. Xiao Fan didn't speak anymore, but pressed the crystal nucleus in Mu Hong's heart. Mu Hong's body couldn't help but trembled. She had never felt such a strange feeling before. She felt that her whole body was surrounded by a special energy. At the beginning, this special energy made her feel a little cold. But then these special energies seemed to turn into a cold sharp knife, stabbing fiercely into her heart. She felt that she was not dead, but she was in extreme pain, because she could feel the knife piercing her heart, stabbing her heart continuously. She finally understood why Xiao Fan told herself that if she couldn't bear it, she could yell out loud, because this is too painful, an unprecedented pain. But Mu Hong stood up strong. She didn't want to be too weak in front of her man. She didn't want the man in front of her to worry too much about herself. She just wanted this man to feel happy and relaxed when he was with her. So she just endured this unprecedented pain. Soon she felt that the sharp knife pierced into the heart slowly began to melt, and began to fuse with her heart. At the beginning, the tip of the knife disappeared, and slowly the blade began to disappear, but just when Mu Hong felt that her pain was about to disappear, the ablation knife suddenly returned to its integrity, and pierced into her heart fiercely again. Mu Hong couldn't hold back this time, and groaned in pain. At this moment, her whole body seemed to be poured with water, and even sweat dripped down on the ground along her clothes. It could be seen what kind of torture Mu Hong had endured in just a few minutes. Finally, I felt the tip of the knife start to melt again, and then the blade began to melt, but no surprise, that strange sharp knife returned to its integrity again, piercing her heart even harder. In this way, the pain became more intense each time, and the energy fused in Mu Hong's heart became more and more. But at this moment, only 1/3 of the crystal nucleus disappeared. Xiao Fan looked at the woman in front of him with some distress, so stubborn that people couldn't help but want to hug her, but Xiao Fan still resisted the urge to hug her, because Xiao Fan knew that at this time, Mu Hong must not be disturbed in the slightest. Mu Hong's body began to tremble violently. The sweat on her body was scattered everywhere because of her body trembling, and her originally delicate face became pale with bloodless color at this moment. Xiao Fan knew that Mu Hong was in extreme pain, but she endured it so stubbornly that she was not even willing to speak out in pain unless it was absolutely necessary. Xiao Fan can only watch like this, and can only hope that the crystal nucleus in his hand can quickly complete the fusion with Mu Hong's heart. Mu Hong didn't know how many times her heart had been stabbed. She felt that her physical strength could no longer support her. She wanted to stand up hard, but she really couldn't stand up. Her body was limp on the ground, and she was still standing. The violent shaking stopped. Chapter 58 Sublimation of Life Level. This pain lasted for a full hour and a half before it was over. The crystal nucleus in Xiao Fan's hand completely disappeared, because the crystal nucleus completely turned into energy and merged into Mu Hong's heart. Mu Hong seemed to have fallen into deep sleep. She closed her eyes tightly, only her breathing was steady, otherwise if someone saw her at this time, she must have thought that Mu Hong was a dying person. Even though Mu Hong was still lying on the ground, Xiao Fan didn't move her. This is a very critical moment for awakening the ability, and there must be no disturbance at all. At this time, if you were worried that the ground would be too cold to move her, it would be the real harm to her. Xiao Fan doesn't know how long this time will last, but Xiao Fan is sure that Mu Hong who wakes up will be completely reborn with powerful abilities. Xiao Fan quietly left the wine room, and locked the door. He returned to Mu Hong's room and saw Mu Ying and Su Xiao chatting. Xiao Fan said, "If you two are sleepy, rest, don't wait for Mu Hong. She has gone to do some things I taught her to do, you must not go to her, she will come back after finishing her work." Xiao Fan didn't tell them the truth. It's not that Xiao Fan deliberately concealed them, but it's completely unnecessary. Mu Ying asked, "But what did my sister do? When will she come back?" Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'll be back in a few hours. I'm leaving first, I have other things to do." Xiao Fan left without explaining. Mu Ying looked at Xiao Fan's back and said worriedly, "Why did he leave like this?" He didn't say anything clearly. "Nothing happened to my sister, right?" Su Xia comforted, "Don't worry, your sister will not have any problems. Mr. Xiao is completely worthy of our trust. He will never hurt your sister." Only then did Mu Ying feel relieved. The reason why Xiao Fan can't wait to leave is that he has to help Yu Wenli awaken his power immediately. This woman Yu Wenli is too difficult to deal with, and she is very wary of him. Xiao Fan really has a headache. She doesn't know how to make this woman completely believe in herself, otherwise she will be in the process of awakening her abilities. If this woman refuses to cooperate, the consequences will be unimaginable. But Xiao Fan has no choice now. No matter how difficult it is, he has to help Yu Wenli awaken his abilities, because he needs Yu Wenli, an assistant who can awaken abilities. According to Xiao Fan's understanding of Yu Wenli should still be in the real estate company now, because Yu Wenli just took over the real estate company, and she is a workaholic, so she must work overtime as soon as possible to take care of the company's affairs. Straighten it out. Sure enough, as Xiao Fan expected, the lights in Yu Wenli's office were indeed on. However, the office building of the real estate company has been locked, which is not difficult for Xiao Fan. He used his supernatural ability to climb directly into the office building, and then came to the door of Yu Wenli's office. At this time, only Yu Wenli's office lights were on in the entire office building. It seems that this strong woman is the only one working overtime. Xiao Fan knocked on the door. Yu Wenli was completely immersed in her work, not realizing that she was the only one in the whole company. She said instinctively, "Please come in." Xiao Fan pushed open the door and walked in. Yu Wenli was still staring at the computer screen to process the documents, and asked without raising her head, "Just tell me what it is." Xiao Fan didn't speak, but walked in front of her. Yu Wenli felt something was wrong, hurriedly looked up and saw Xiao Fan, and let out a scream in shock. She roared, "Xiao Fan, how did you get in here?" Xiao Fan smiled and said, "Yu Wenli, do you need to be so excited? Didn't you just let me in?" Yu Wenli said angrily, "I mean, why did you show up in my company?" Xiao Fan deliberately teased her and said, "I said, do you need to be so angry? Did you forget the agreement between us? Of course I have something very important for you to do, so I came to you." Yu Wenli snorted and said, "That's very embarrassing. I don't have time to help you do things. Don't forget the agreement between us. You can let me do things, but it can't affect my handling of company affairs." Xiao Fan smiled and said, "I know you are very busy now, so I came here in person. If it is not a last resort, I will not bother you." Yu Wenli asked very impatiently, "What do you have to tell me quickly? I am really very busy." Xiao Fan said seriously, "I want to take you into a brand new world. Originally, I planned to take you into this brand new world in 2 or 3 days. But now the situation has changed. I decided to let you get to know this brand new world. I wonder if you are interested." Yu Wenli's beautiful big eyes became more and more unbelievable. "Xiao Fan, I have long suspected that your mind is abnormal. Now it seems that your mind is really abnormal. What kind of new world do you want me to enter? Could it be that you become a mentally ill patient like you? I have no interest." I think you should keep your own brand new world. Don't come to me. Xiao Fan shook his head and said, it seems that you really don't believe what I said, but it doesn't matter at all. I can prove it to you. But once I bring you into this brand new world, you have to promise me one condition. Yu Wenli snorted, I'm really not interested in entering your new world, you. Before Yu Wenli could finish her sentence, she stopped abruptly, because she was completely shocked by what she saw, because the desk in front of her and everything on the desk disappeared. Her mouth was wide open, enough to stuff a big goose egg in. Xiao Fan walked up to her, stretched out his hand to help her close her mouth, and said, do you feel very shocked? If you feel shocked just now when you see this, then I feel a little disappointed, because in my heart, you should be a person with a very good psychological quality, but Yu Wenli couldn't speak at all. Xiao Fan continued, if you want, I will take you into this brand new world. And what you saw before to made you feel incomprehensible and deeply shocked. In the brand new world I said in this world, it is not worth mentioning at all. At that time, your life level will be sublimated. Are you willing to seize this opportunity? Chapter 59 I Dawn in number 039, T want to be your slave. Xiao Fan walked over and pinched her cheek, but there was still no response. Xiao Fan slapped her across the face, which completely woke up Yu Wenli. Yu Wenli felt her left cheek was hot, but she couldn't care less about it, and asked, who are you? You are definitely not alone. Xiao Fan was amused, and said with a smile, you are not alone. Yu Wenli hurriedly explained, I mean, you are not an ordinary person. Xiao Fan asked, I am indeed not an ordinary person, and now I have an opportunity to stop you from being an ordinary person. It depends on whether you are willing to seize this opportunity. Yu Wenli stared at Xiao Fan and remained silent for a long time. Xiao Fan also kept silent and stopped talking. He didn't want to disturb this woman at this time, and was willing to give her a certain amount of time to think carefully. Yu Wenli finally said, why did you choose me? Xiao Fan laughed. The reason is very simple, because you are beautiful. Yu Wenli looked at Xiao Fan dubiously, and finally shook her head and said, I don't believe what you said at all. Maybe I am really beautiful. I am very confident in this. But there are many beautiful women around you. Why don't you choose them? Xiao Fan couldn't help being secretly surprised. This woman was completely shocked just now, but she can still maintain such a rational thinking. It is really very rare. Xiao Fan could only use his magic tricks and said, because my eyes are different, I can tell who can awaken superpowers, that is, have the same superpowers as me. Not everyone's body is the same. It is suitable for awakening abilities, and your body can awaken abilities. It has such potential. Yu Wenli asked, so you chose me? But let me ask you a question, without your help, can I also awaken my abilities? Xiao Fan suddenly pinched her chin and sneered, I said you, women, are too ambitious. If you don't have my help, even if you have the potential to awaken supernatural powers, so what? If you want to awaken your abilities, the end of your life is just a handful of ashes. You are no different from other ordinary people. Only I can take you into a new world and let you have your own abilities. I am your guide, and your master. Yu Wenli wanted to break free from Xiao Fan's hand, but found that she couldn't do it at all, so she stopped struggling and said, if you can really help me awaken my abilities and enter the brand new world you mentioned, I can admit that you are my guide. But it is absolutely impossible for you to be my master, Xiao Fan said firmly, there is no room for bargaining in this matter. You want me to be your guide and take you into the world you want to enter. You must recognize me as the master and accept my absolute arrangement, and the leader, otherwise I will give up on you. Then no matter how good your potential is, you are no different from ordinary people. Yu Wenli also replied firmly, even if I become an ordinary person, maybe there is nothing wrong with me. I now have a career that I love, and my life will become very exciting. It belongs to an ordinary person. Wonderful, there is nothing wrong with it. It is absolutely impossible for me to recognize you as the master, and I would rather be an ordinary person. Xiao Fan sneered, if I really give up on you this time, you won't be able to be an ordinary person. You think you really have a career you love, but it's just a flash in the pan. Tell you the truth, why am I so cheap? Sell all the assets of my Xiao group to buy all kinds of necessities for life? Do you think a person with superpowers like me is an idiot? It was only then that Yu Wenli felt something was wrong, and hurriedly asked, why did you do this? Xiao Fan laughed and said, you only thought of asking this question after I reminded you. To be honest, I am worried about your IQ performance. Of course, this is Xiao Fan deliberately suppressing Yu Wenli psychologically. in order to smash all the pride and self-esteem of this woman. Sure enough, the expression on Yu Wenli's face became a little unnatural. Xiao Fan continued, "That's because I know that in a few days, our planet will be invaded, everything on our planet will be destroyed, your current company will be completely destroyed by then, and even you will be destroyed. You want to die. Do you really think that you can live a wonderful life just because you want to be an ordinary person? You won't even have your life at that time, and you still talk about your career? Don't you think it's very ridiculous?" The expression on Yu Wenli's face changed quickly, and finally said, "I don't believe what you said is true. You must be lying to me. You tell me this, just want me to submit to you. You want me to admit that you are the master and want me to be your slave. You can't do it at all," Xiao Fan said seriously. "Then I will show you one more thing, let you see if what I said is true or not." As soon as Xiao Fan finished speaking, a huge head of an interstellar iron beetle suddenly appeared in front of Yu Wenli. Yu Wenli was so frightened that she screamed. Xiao Fan blocked her mouth, and Yu Wenli's shouting stopped abruptly. Xiao Fan calmed her down and let her go. She continued, "Do you still think I'm lying to you now? After a few days, such monsters will come to our planet one after another, and everything on this planet will be destroyed by then. Human beings can survive 10 to 20%, but the survivors will be killed slowly. Your Yu Wenli will even become their food, and they will even implant their eggs in your stomach, so that you give them a bunch of little bugs." "What?" Yu Wenli screamed desperately again, completely interrupting Xiao Fan's words. She shouted, "Please don't say any more, I'm so disgusted. I don't want to give birth to a bunch of little bugs. I don't want to be implanted with bug eggs by them. I don't want. Xiao Fan sneered, "If you want to get rid of this tragic fate, it is not impossible. You need to have enough self-protection power, that is, you must have your own superpowers, just like me. I am willing to be you now. You should be grateful to me for helping you awaken your abilities. Because I came to save you, but you rejected me again and again, which made me feel very angry and disappointed." Yu Wenli pleaded, "I also want to awaken superpowers, but can you not humiliate me and make me your slave?" Chapter 60 Reaching a Deal with the Female President. At the beginning, Yu Wenli still had the courage to look at him, but she was soon defeated and lowered her head. Xiao Fan raised her chin and said, "To tell you the truth, you thought it would be that simple to help you awaken your ability? I need to pay a very high price." Xiao Fan said this and took out the last remaining crystal nucleus from his ability space, and then continued, "Seeing whether or not it is the key to helping you awaken your ability, not how good your potential can be awakened ability. Without this thing, no matter how good your potential is, you are still an ordinary person." Looking at the blue crystal clear gemstone, Yu Wenli also felt that the crystal nucleus was absolutely extraordinary. Knowing that Xiao Fan might not have lied to herself, he really had to pay a great price to help her awaken her abilities, so she wanted some. It's not too much to pay back, but when she thought that the man in front of her would want to be her own master, she was still very unwilling. Before that, she was a very proud female president of Bingshan, and she had never been humiliated like this before. From her heart, it was really unacceptable, but the temptation in front of her is very huge. She is absolutely deceiving herself when she says that she is not tempted at all. At this time, she hesitated because of this. Xiao Fan smiled slightly and said, "At present, I only have one such crystal nucleus left, and I believe that there are many people like you who have the potential for awakening abilities. If you are not willing to agree to my conditions, why should I only have such a crystal nucleus, to help a person who is unwilling to listen to me to awaken his ability?" Instead of finding an obedient person, Yu Wenli said unwillingly, "But asking me to recognize you as my master and your slave is indeed too difficult for me to accept." Xiao Fan said seriously, "I said I want to be your master, but I didn't say I want you to be my slave. You made up the second half of the sentence yourself. Since I helped you awaken the ability to make you become so powerful, do you think I would be stupid enough to deliberately humiliate you and make you resist me?" Yu Wenli didn't speak. She wanted to hear what Xiao Fan had to say. Xiao Fan went on to say, "What I said, I want to be your master, just let you accept my command, and you must not violate the order at any time. As for the things that humiliate your personality that you make up by yourself, I will not made." This is not a concession made by Xiao Fan, but a strategy of negotiation. Just like two people bargaining in business, you propose a price that is absolutely unacceptable to the other party at the beginning. Just when he feels desperate, you make a little concession, which will make the other party feel very fulfilled and think that your great progress has been made. In fact, This is all about digging a hole for the other party, so that the other party will jump into the hole willingly. Xiao Fan is using this trick against Yu Wenli now. Yu Wenli is a very proud woman. If Xiao Fan told her real bottom line from the beginning, she would definitely have to bargain, so when dealing with such a woman, she can only put forward a condition that makes her feel very excessive, and then withdraw back to her true bottom line. Only in this way can Yu Wenli be truly tamed. This is Xiao Fan's strategy. Sure enough, Yu Wenli asked, "You really just want me to accept your leadership? You really won't let me do some messy things?" Xiao Fan asked with a smirk. "What do you mean by the messy things?" Yu Wenli shyly said. "For example, let me serve you." The smile on Xiao Fan's face was even worse, but he said, "Actually, what man doesn't desire such a thing? But you don't need to be too nervous. If I don't have any thoughts about you, you don't even believe it. That's your own failure, right? But I will never force you to do it, and one day you will worship me and do it willingly, and I won't object." Yu Wenli rolled her eyes at Xiao Fan and said, "Then remember what you said, I can accept your conditions. As long as you help me awaken my abilities, I will willingly accept your command." Xiao Fan laughed and said, "You have to think about it clearly. Once you promised me, you must never go back on your word, or play tricks when the time comes. Don't think about fooling me first, and then resist me after awakening the ability. If you really think so, it can only be yourself. Because when I help you awaken your abilities, I will implant a special program in your body. As long as you violate your oath, this program will prompt you to explode." Of course, this is all Xiao Fan's nonsense, and she is also fooling Yu Wenli. This is Xiao Fan using the information gap to threaten Yu Wenli, but I have to say that the effect is very good. Yu Wenli really had this idea vaguely in her heart. If Xiao Fan's future orders are really outrageous, she can completely refuse to set up her own family, but now that Xiao Fan actually said that, she had to completely get rid of the vague thoughts in her heart. She didn't want to die because of self-explosion. That kind of death is too tragic. Yu Wenli nodded and replied, "I swear that I will abide by my oath, but the program you implanted in my body should not be too excessive. No matter what happens, if I go against your will, there will be an explosion." Xiao Fan raised her chin again and said, "Don't worry, I have worked so hard to help you awaken your abilities. How could I just let you die? That would be a huge loss to me." Yu Wenli thought about what Xiao Fan said, and it seemed that it really made sense. What's more, if Xiao Fan really wants to do something to you, it is the best time for him to do it before he has awakened his ability, because he has no power to resist it this time. But Xiao Fan has only been negotiating conditions with himself so far, and has not done anything to himself. This shows that Xiao Fan is still an upright gentleman. At least he is a bad person with a certain bottom line. Yu Wenli then said, "I swear that as long as you give me a legitimate order, I will never violate it. So can I awaken my abilities now? Do I need to prepare anything in advance?" Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "You don't need to make any preparations in advance, but you must have a certain amount of psychological preparation. Awakening supernatural powers is also a very cruel process. I hope you can bear it with strength. If you can't bear it, if so, it is very likely that you will die in the process of awakening the ability. Can you do it?" Yu Wenli nodded and replied, "Don't worry, I will definitely bear it, no matter how cruel it is." Chapter 61 Taking Turns Serving Them? Mu Hong woke up leisurely. Just as she opened her eyes, two rays of light shot out from her pupils. The two rays of light fell on the two wine bottles at the same time, and the bottles instantly turned into nothingness. This is Mu Hong's ability. Her beautiful big eyes have become her weapon, which is much more advanced and powerful than any existing laser weapon. Mu Hong hurriedly thought. The light from her eyes disappeared. She was shocked by herself. She had awakened such a terrible ability. Her mood immediately became extremely excited again. She wanted to tell Xiao Fan the good news immediately, but she didn't see Xiao Fan's shadow. She pushed open the door of the wine room and went out to look for Xiao Fan, but there were only Mu Ying and Su Xia who were sleeping soundly in the room. Su Xia was awakened by Mu Hong's footsteps, looked at Mu Hong and asked, "Sister, what did you do? Why did you come back so late?" Mu Ying woke up slowly when she heard Su Xia's words, and vaguely saw her sister asking, "Sister, I'm still worried about what Xiao Fan did to you." Mu Hong said seriously, "Don't have such absurd thoughts in the future. Remember that he will be our heaven in the future." Mu Ying was taken aback when she heard that her sister was so serious, and hurriedly explained, "Sister, why are you so serious? I was just joking." Su Xia was also taken aback. She didn't know what happened, why suddenly Mu Hong was so serious to her sister whom she just met. Mu Hong said, "Remember that in the future, such jokes must not be made indiscriminately. Xiao Fan will definitely not harm us. He will only help us and take care of us, and we will rely on him wholeheartedly in the future. If we have one day once you have the ability to help him, you must do your best to help him." Mu Ying said seriously, "Sister, I remember everything you said, but can you tell me what happened? I suddenly feel that you have changed a lot." Su Xiao also asked curiously, "What happened to the girl? I wonder if something happened between you and Xiao Fan that we don't know about." Mu Hong nodded, but did not explain, because she didn't know how to tell her sister and Su Xiao, and because Xiao Fan didn't intend to let the two of them know the relevant secrets. Mu Hong felt that she shouldn't reveal the secrets either, so she just nodded without any explanation. Mu Ying became even more curious and asked, "What happened to my sister? I really want to know." At this moment, the door was suddenly kicked open. 5 big men rushed in from the outside. Su Xiao recognized them at a glance. All of them were Brother Ho's subordinates. The leader is Jin Hu, Brother Ho's confidant. He was not at the horse farm at the time, but now he came back and found it here. Jin Hu glanced at Mu Hong, then looked at Su Xiao and asked, "Sister-in-law, what's going on? Why can't Brother Ho be found? I can't even get in touch with him, and his phone number can't be reached at all." Looking at Jin Hu's fierce eyes, Su Xiao was really nervous and a little bit at a loss, let alone how to answer this question. On the contrary, Mu Hong said calmly, "Isn't it too impolite for you to do this? Why do you just break into my house and be so rude? Even if you Brother Ho came to me, you have never been like you." Jin Hu snorted coldly and said, "Mu Hong, don't think we don't know what you did. You took a man to find Brother Ho, and then Brother Ho disappeared inexplicably. I can't get through the phone. What's going on here? What did you do to Brother Ho? If you don't make it clear today, let me tell you, everyone here today will die." Mu Ying was so frightened that her face turned pale, and her face was as pale as paper. She had never seen such a scene before. Su Xia calmed down at this moment, and said, "Brother Ho took someone to do a big business. Maybe the mobile phone was turned off due to special circumstances. It is inconvenient to contact you now. And Brother Ho is worried about me. Just let me stay here with Mu Hong for a few days." "What on earth are you making such a fuss about? Aren't you afraid that Brother Ho will settle accounts with you when you come back?" Jin Hu snorted coldly and said, "You bitch, you are still talking nonsense at this time. If Brother Ho really wants to make a big deal, how could he not leave any explanation in advance? Maybe it is inconvenient for him to communicate with others. He will contact me, but he will definitely contact me. I am the closest to him. So I advise you to tell the truth, you bitch, otherwise you should know what kind of person I am and what methods I will use against you." Su Xiao also said angrily, "You Brother Ho is so disrespectful to me when you're not by my side. I'm still your sister-in-law. Could it be that you really don't listen to a word I say?" Jin Hu sneered and said, "I used to call you sister-in-law for Brother Ho's sake, but to put it bluntly, you are a bitch. I'm just a plaything of Brother Ho. You really think you have a big save face? Hurry up and tell the truth now. If you don't say anything else, we brothers will take turns serving you." Another man named He Mao also threatened, "Brother Hu, these stinky bitches really don't shed tears when they see the coffin, and they are still so stubborn. Why should they talk to them, and let them taste our brothers? Forget it." The other burly men laughed maliciously. Su Xia said angrily, "Are you here to ask about your elder brother? Or are you deliberately bullying us while your elder brother is away? If you really dare to do anything to me, aren't you afraid that your elder brother will punish you severely when he comes back?" When Su Xia said this, she was still very stern. She didn't know what to do. She just hoped to delay for some time, and hoped that Xiao Fan would come here quickly. Otherwise, how could these weak women deal with these few big men? Su Xia even started to wink at Mu Hong, hoping that Mu Hong could secretly contact Xiao Fan, but Mu Hong seemed to turn a blind eye to her winks. Su Xia couldn't help but secretly became anxious. She knew this group of bastards very well. They were the ones who could do all kinds of evil, and they would really torture them severely. Jin Hu suddenly looked at Su Xia and said, "You stinky bitch, don't wink at Mu Hong anymore. Do you think I can't see it? You are a pair of stinky bitches, so don't play any tricks in front of me. Otherwise it's all a dead end." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62, Mu Hong and number 039's first murder. Hearing this, Jin, who was furious, took out his own gun from his body, pointed the black muzzle at Mu Hong's head with a sneer and said, "You damn stinky bitch, who dared to do this? Threat me, then I will give you a ride," Mu Ying shouted. "Don't hurt my sister." Suddenly, the black cat's eyes lit up and said, "Brother who? I just saw that her brothers are blessed, and they are actually a pair of twin sisters. Isn't it a pity that brother who just killed these girls like this, especially the twins, sisters, don't let us brothers enjoy it?" Jin, who really didn't notice it before. At that time, Mu Ying was trembling with fright and lowered her head. He really didn't realize that Mu Hong and Mu Ying were twin sisters. At first glance, it is really a pair of twin sisters. He also showed an evil smile and said, "I didn't expect that we would have such a surprise when we came to Brother Ho. Such a good thing, but it has never happened once in many years. Especially with such excellent twin sisters. How could I if you don't understand the feelings of the brothers? You can play however you want." The black cat laughed and said, "I said, Mu Hong, are you going to take the initiative to serve our brothers yourself, or let our brothers help you with your own hands?" Mu Hong really didn't want to reveal the secret of her awakening ability, but at this moment, she couldn't do it anymore if she didn't want to. So she looked at the black cat, a pair of eyes shot out two rays of light, and a blue beam of light flashed under the light. The black cat just let out an "ah," and before he could utter the full scream, he disappeared at an extremely unbelievable speed, in less than a second. A big living person just disappeared like that. Mu Ying and Su Xia couldn't believe their eyes at all. Even at this moment they suspected that they were dreaming, and Jinhu and the big men behind him were all petrified, but the next moment Mu Hong looked at Jinhu and sneered, "I really didn't want to kill you, you are just a few rubbish. How to kill you? But if I give you a way to live and you don't leave, then I'll just send you on your way." There was a strong killing intent in Mu Hong's words. Jinhu was awakened, and hurriedly begged, "Sister Hong, please let brother go, give him a way out." As he said that, he was about to pull the trigger of his pistol, but then he let out a heart-piercing scream, because Mu Hong's eyes shot out two more blue beams. The pistol in his hand began to melt along with his arm, and then his scream stopped abruptly, and he also turned into a state of nothingness. The three big men behind him turned around and were about to run, but unfortunately, they had no chance to escape, and in less than 2 seconds, the three big men were all killed by Mu Hong and turned into nothingness. Mu Hong was also secretly taken aback, because she found that her mood could control the power and speed of her killing. Just now, because the three big men wanted to escape, Mu Hong felt a little anxious in her heart, so the two beams of light shot out of her eyes instantly increased the speed and power of killing. This discovery made Mu Hong very excited, and she became more and more knowledgeable about her way of killing people. Mu Hong looked at Su Xia and Mu Ying and said, "I didn't scare you two. Remember, this is my secret. You two must keep it a secret for me. You must not tell this matter." Both Su Xia and Mu Ying nodded mechanically, out of shock. They didn't understand what Mu Hong said at all. Su Xia was the first to wake up after a long time, and stammered excitedly, "Sister, little sister, what happened just now? Is what I saw real or fake? You just give them all away like this, killed? Am I dreaming?" Mu Hong smiled and said, "Sister Xia, you are not dreaming. Xiao Fan just helped me awaken my superpower, and I am also a person with superpowers, and I have become exactly the same as Xiao Fan. So kill those few people just now. It is very simple for me to be a piece of garbage. If Xiao Fan is here, it may be even easier." Now Mu Hong has a very blind admiration and trust for Xiao Fan. In fact, she doesn't know that Xiao Fan can easily kill all these garbage, but Xiao Fan's speed of removing these garbage may not be as fast as hers. Come on, the death light shot out of her eyes. Xiao Fan really can't compare to it. Mu Ying also regained her senses at this time and asked, "Sister, it turns out that Xiao Fan asked you to go out alone to help you awaken this superpower? I am really envious. If Xiao Fan can also help me awaken this superpower, that would be nice." Su Xiao also looked expectantly. No one would not be tempted by this kind of temptation. Mu Hong smiled and said, "Don't worry, Xiao Fan just promised me that if there is a chance in the future, he will help you awaken your abilities. Let you become like us, but when you have abilities, you must very loyal to Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan is everything to us. Can you do it?" Mu Ying nodded hastily, and Su Xia followed suit. Mu Hong actually didn't know whether Xiao Fan could help them awaken their abilities, But one must have a purpose and a goal in life, otherwise one would lose the motivation to live, wouldn't he? That's why Mu Hong wrote this bad check for Xiao Fan, waiting for Xiao Fan to accept it later. Mu Hong's mood at this time is also very restless. She just killed someone for the first time in her life, although this method of killing seems too simple, as if she didn't do it herself. The scene is not bloody, and there is not even a corpse. She stayed. But she still killed so many people at once, and her heartbeat still accelerated a lot involuntarily. She looked out the window, hoping that Xiao Fan could return to her side quickly, so that she could feel more at ease. Mu Ying looked at her sister enviously. From this moment, she suddenly found that her sister seemed to be more beautiful and charming than before, and she grew infinitely taller in her heart. Su Xiao also had almost the same feeling, but Mu Hong didn't see the way the two of them looked at her. She just wanted Xiao Fan to return to her side as soon as possible, but she didn't know that Xiao Fan was in a big trouble now. Chapter 63 Sudden Enemy Attack. In fact, this state is the key stage of the awakening of the ability, which is a stage in which the cells of the ability awaken or mutate. Xiao Fan didn't directly choose to leave this time, but quietly stood aside. The reason why Xiao Fan is like this is not that he cares more about Yu Wenli. On the contrary, Yu Wenli is far less important than Mu Hong in Xiao Fan's heart, but Xiao Fan chooses to stay by her side just to instill in her the importance of loyalty as soon as she wakes up. This is a very important concept installation. Xiao Fan will never miss it. Yu Wenli collapsed on the ground, and it has to be said that Yu Wenli at this moment has lost the usual state of aloof and unapproachable as a strong woman, and looks even more pitiful and charming. Xiao Fan looked at it with some strange thoughts, and at this moment a black shadow flashed outside the window. Then he saw a huge interstellar iron beetle landed outside the window. Xiao Fan couldn't help feeling nervous. Yu Wenli is now in a very critical period of awakening abilities, and she must not be disturbed. But at this time, an interstellar iron beetle came, and this interstellar iron beetle looked very special. Even Xiao Fan had never seen it in the last 50 years, because the head of this interstellar iron beetle turned out to be pale gold. This is the first time such an interstellar iron beetle has appeared. Xiao Fan also really doesn't understand, how did this damn interstellar iron beetle find himself at this time? Suddenly he patted his head and suddenly realized that this time he was really careless. In order to fool Yu Wenli before, he took out the head of an interstellar iron beetle from his supernatural space, and then helped Yu Wenli awaken his supernatural power. Always by himself, all the attention was on Yu Wenli, so he ignored that head and didn't put it away again. This damn interstellar iron beetle must have found this place because of this head. Xiao Fan did not choose to do it immediately, because if he could delay as much as possible, it would be best to wait until Yu Wenli woke up, which was the best choice for Xiao Fan. The pale gold-headed interstellar iron beetle outside the window did not choose to attack immediately, but his body began to change rapidly, and he turned into exactly the same as Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan seemed to see another himself through a mirror, which made him I can't help but get goosebumps all over my body. What shocked Xiao Fan even more was that this was the first time he had seen an interstellar iron beetle that could change its shape. This interstellar iron beetle with a light golden head was really different. Xiao Fan and him just looked at each other through the window. Neither of them spoke first. Finally, the fake Xiao Fan outside the window sneered, "Your patience really surprised me. Did you kill my two servants?" Xiao Fan said, "If you want to talk to me, you should change the place." Fake Xiao Fan glanced at Yu Wenli on the ground and said, "You are worried that I will disturb her. It seems that you are really nervous about her. But I am going to kill her now, but you have no way to stop me." Believe it or not, Xiao Fan's complexion became extremely ugly. This damn interstellar iron beetle actually saw through his intentions. Yu Wenli's body trembled because of fake Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan knows that Yu Wenli has been affected. This damned bastard is really damned. Xiao Fan can't wait to kill him directly, but now he is faced with a dilemma. If he chooses to fight the opponent immediately, if he kills the opponent in one blow, it is better to talk about it. If there is no way to kill the opponent all at once, forming a stalemate, it will be very unfavorable for Yu Wenli. But Xiao Fan was not sure about killing the opponent with one blow, because it was the first time he faced such a strange opponent, and Xiao Fan had no idea what the strength of the opponent was. But if he doesn't do it for a long time, this guy continues to make trouble, or if this guy suddenly chooses to do it, it will also have a major impact on Yu Wenli. So it is difficult for Xiao Fan to advance or retreat now. Fake Xiao Fan sneered and said, "Do you know why I came here? I ordered you to surrender, but you killed all my servants. This makes me feel very shameless, and it also makes me the command post is under attack, so I came here myself, just to get rid of you." Xiao Fan knew that he couldn't hesitate any longer. This guy seemed to be going to kill you. The reason why the other party didn't attack immediately was because the other party wanted to attack him verbally and vent his anger. Xiao Fan understood this point without any further hesitation. Suddenly, a bone spear appeared in his hand, and stabbed at the fake Xiao Fan outside the window at the fastest speed without any hesitation. Xiao Fan's spear thrust could be said to be fast, ruthless and unexpected, but the fake Xiao Fan's reaction was faster. Almost at the same time as Xiao Fan's attack, his body quickly retreated and flew into the night sky. In fact, Yu Wenli really needs to be grateful to the fake Xiao Fan for never taking her seriously. If the fake Xiao Fan really decides to get rid of Yu Wenli is probably in real danger now. Of course, it's not because of how kind Xiao Fan himself is, or because of his sympathy. The root cause is his blind arrogance and pride. In his eyes, no one on the entire planet is valued by him, and Xiao Fan is just loved by him. Those who think it has a certain use value are all, so he felt that there was absolutely no need to interfere with Yu Wenli, and Yu Wenli was very lucky to escape. When the fake Xiao Fan retreated to the night sky, Xiao Fan jumped out of the window, and at the same time threw the bone spear in his hand. The target was the fake Xiao Fan flying upside down in the night sky. This spear directly carried all the strength of Xiao Fan's body, and made a sharp piercing sound, almost attacking the fake Xiao Fan at a speed exceeding the speed of sound. In fact, Xiao Fan didn't dare to be too arrogant. He was also very careful in the face of the bone spear attacking him. This bone spear could really kill him. He hurriedly changed his speed while flying backwards, but at this moment, the second bone spear seemed to have predicted his change, and threw it at the direction he was about to advance at a faster speed. Fake Xiao Fan really started to get nervous at this time, knowing that this guy who he doesn't really care about is actually not simple. He has extremely rich combat experience, and his strikes are also very hot. At this time, it was too late for him to change direction and dodge, so this fake Xiao Fan decided to use his trump card. He opened his mouth and sprayed out a pale golden liquid sword. Chapter 64 Yu Wenli and number 039, S Awakening of Ability. Therefore, this like golden liquid sword directly corroded the second bone spear into liquid, but Xiao Fan was not idle. He brought back a large number of bone spears from the supernatural space, so he took out 2 more bone spears from the supernatural space and threw them at the interstellar iron beetle. Moreover, the direction and angle of throwing are very tricky, and there is a certain amount of advance. Although the interstellar iron beetle escaped the third bone spear, the fourth bone spear pierced through his body. He let out a hysterical scream, and his body reverted to itself, falling to the ground. Xiao Fan walked over, used the bone spear to dig open his body to take out the crystal nucleus, and put his body into his supernatural space. Although the battle was a perfect victory, Xiao Fan was still very worried that this short battle would affect Yu Wenli. He hurried back to Yu Wenli's office immediately, and saw that Yu Wenli had slowly opened his eyes. Xiao Fan hurried to her side and asked, "How do you feel? Is it very different from before?" Xiao Fan is not sure what kind of power Yu Wenli has awakened, so he can only ask like this. Yu Wenli was still very weak at this time. She sat up with difficulty and said, "I feel that I have no strength in my whole body, as if I have a completely overdrawn. Other than that, I don't feel any difference from before." Xiao Fan's heart couldn't help but he sank and asked, "How is it possible? You can't have awakening abilities, right? Feel it carefully, concentrate your mind and body, and feel if there is anything special about you." Xiao Fan is also very uncertain now. Is it because of the battle just now that Yu Wenli missed the opportunity to awaken his ability? If this is the case, even though Xiao Fan killed the interstellar iron beetle, the loss outweighs the gain. According to what Xiao Fan said, Yu Wenli closed her big beautiful eyes gently again, and felt her body carefully. Suddenly she opened her eyes suddenly, she stretched out her right palm, and then a blue energy ball began to appear in her palm. The energy ball became bigger and bigger, and the energy contained in it became more and more manic. Xiao Fan hurriedly said, "Put it away quickly, don't throw it out, I can feel it is very dangerous." With a thought in Yu Wenli's mind, the energy ball in his palm disappeared. Only then did Xiao Fan heave a long sigh of relief. All his hard work was worth it. Yu Wenli said, "Thank you very much." Xiao Fan sighed, "Don't you just want to thank me?" Do you know that during the process of your awakening ability just now, there was an extremely powerful interstellar iron beetle who wanted to take the opportunity to destroy you? I tried my best to protect you. You are the only one who can successfully awaken your abilities. I have paid so much for you and worked so hard for you. You just want to say thank you, Yu Wenli asked suspiciously. Really or fake? Xiao Fan helped Yu Wenli to the window, and then pointed to a deep pit outside, which was the trace left by the corrosion of the liquid ejected by the pale golden interstellar iron beetle. Xiao Fan said, see? That's the trace left after I fought him. Do you think I'm deceiving you? Yu Wenli looked at Xiao Fan gratefully and said, then how do you want me to thank you? I know you have paid a lot for me this time, but you will be my master from now on. Xiao Fan raised her chin and said, now you don't have the arrogance of being so high above that no one should enter, and you are even more attractive. Yu Wenli shyly said, let me get used to it slowly, okay? I still feel very unnatural when you suddenly talk to me like this. Xiao Fan smiled and said, what plans do you have now? Do you still want to run your company? Yu Wenli shook her head and replied, if it was before, I would definitely run my company wholeheartedly, but now that I know so much, would I still do such meaningless things? If you want, I would like to follow by your side. Xiao Fan nodded with a smile and said, that's what I mean too. Originally, I didn't intend to let you awaken your abilities so early, but the situation is very critical now. I'm afraid I will delay it any longer, and I don't have time to help you any more awakened abilities. Yu Wenli lowered her head and asked, why are you so kind to me? Did you secretly like me in your heart? Xiao Fan coughed lightly and said, some things can only be understood but not expressed in words. You just need to experience it slowly. I'm going to the warehouse of my Xiao family now. You can go with me. Yu Wenli nodded at this moment. Xiao Fan's cell phone rang quickly. Xiao Fan took out his mobile phone and saw that it was Hu Miao calling. Xiao Fan hurriedly connected, and Hu Miao must have something to do when she called at this time, otherwise she would never bother herself at this time. Hu Miao, why did you call me at this time? Haven't you rested yet? Mr. Xiao, I'm very sorry, I'm not Hu Miao. I just used her mobile phone to contact you. I want to tell you a news that surprised you. If you really care about Hu Miao, come here immediately. Her home, you only have 30 minutes, if you don't make it in 30 minutes, then you will only see her dead body. Who are you? If you dare to hurt a single hair of Hu Miao, I swear that I will not only tear you into pieces, but even your whole family. Mr. Xiao, don't be cruel to me. Because it is meaningless to do so, it will only make me more angry. Then maybe I can only give you 25 minutes. If you don't meet the specified time, you will be at your own risk. Now I will start to fight for you. You time the clock and hope we meet within the stipulated time, said the other party directly ended the call. Xiao Fan's face was full of anger. Why did this damn guy hang himself so much, and even provoked himself so much? Then he's really doomed. Yu Wenli hurriedly asked, what happened? Do you want me to help? Xiao Fan said, go to a place with me, follow me to kill people, and fully display your superpowers. I want to see how powerful your superpowers are. At that time, don't be soft-hearted. Yu Wenli then nodded firmly, followed Xiao Fan and left the office as quickly as possible. Chapter 65 Note and number 039, a trap. Relying on the impression in his mind, Xiao Fan drove Yu Wenli to Hu Miao's house. In addition, it is now in the middle of the night, and there are no pedestrians and vehicles on the road, so we arrived in only 20 minutes. Xiao Fan and Yu Wenli came to the door of Hu Miao's house, and when they pushed the door was pushed open. Xiao Fan and Yu Wenli walked in, and Yu Wenli closed the door without any hassle. Xiao Fan saw two people sitting in the living room. These two people were sitting facing each other. The person facing her was of course Hu Miao, but her whole body was tied to a chair, and her mouth was stuck with scotch tape. She desperately hinted at Xiao Fan with her eyes, but Xiao Fan just nodded at her, telling her not to worry about everything. The other person had his back to Xiao Fan and was facing Hu Miao, leaving Xiao Fan and Yu Wenli only a back view in a white shirt. Mr. Xiao, your speed is really fast. I originally gave you 25 minutes, but I didn't expect you to arrive in 5 minutes. It seems that this woman's position in your heart is very important, which is a bit beyond me. It was unexpected. But I advise you not to act recklessly, because it will kill the woman in front of you. Xiao Fan asked coldly, who are you? The white shirt sneered and said, Mr. Xiao, you seem to be very curious about my identity? Originally, you were supposed to get my position. but you didn't know how to praise and refuse the adult's offer to surrender, so I got it, in your place, become the spokesperson for the grown-ups on this planet, Xiao Fan said disgustedly. You actually turned to the interstellar iron beetle, the white shirt proudly said. You should call them adults. They are a higher civilization than us, they are more suitable for this vast universe than us, and they even have the ability to help us evolve. Let us achieve unprecedented progress, so we should maintain a respectful attitude towards them and call them adults. Yu Wenli snorted coldly. You actually betrayed our planet and became a dog for those interstellar iron beetles, and you still have such a sense of superiority. Are you still a human being? The white shirt sneered and said, if I can get a higher evolution, I would rather not be a human, but an interstellar iron beetle. You are laughing at me now, it can only show your ignorance. Nature is so cruel, low civilization should be eliminated, and advanced civilization should control everything. What I have done today is a kind of betrayal in your eyes, but in my own opinion, it is a wise choice that adapts to the law of evolution. Yu Wenli sneered. It turns out that to be a dog is to be a dog for a bug, and you can still make your words so grand. It really opened my eyes. The white shirt sneered and said, this is your stupidity, you can't follow the laws and trends of evolution. Now I'm giving you a chance, and that's the real reason I brought you here. That is to take refuge in me and become my subordinates. I can make sure you don't die. This is your last chance, I hope you can grasp it well, Xiao Fan sarcastically said. I used to reject your masters, and not only did I reject them, I even killed them. I always treat your masters with such an attitude. Do you think is it possible not to take refuge in your master, but to be a dog for this dog of yours? The white shirt sighed. It seems that my painstaking efforts will be in vain, but I still advise you to think clearly about one question. That is, what will your choice today bring to our planet? Our planet would have once the opportunity to accelerate evolution was interrupted by your ignorance. Don't you feel that you are sinners compared to the entire planet? Xiao Fan sneered and said, give up your meaningless preaching. I am an arrogant human being, and you are willing to degenerate into a dog. You have no chance to convince me. Stop wishful thinking. You should expose your true purpose. Those all the guys hiding in the dark, get out. I can already feel your aura. Did you just set a trap for me? Do you think you can kill me like this? Ridiculous. At this time, from the bedroom, bathroom, and even the kitchen, some men with expressionless faces came out without a sound, and what's even more strange is that the features on their faces are exactly the same. At first glance, the interstellar iron beetle has changed, and it has changed according to template. At this moment, Xiao Fan suddenly had a bone spear in his hand, and stabbed at the back of the white shirt as fast as he could. The reason why Xiao Fan didn't do anything before was because he knew that the white shirt was on high alert, and the people hiding in the dark were also on high alert. If he made a rash move, he might hurt Hu Miao. That's why Xiao Fan deliberately chose this timing to make a move, because these guys hiding in the dark suddenly appeared and surrounded Xiao Fan and Yu Wenli. Not only made the white shirt relax at this moment, even these guys who surrounded Xiao Fan also relaxed. Watch out, therefore, the moment Xiao Fan sees this opportunity, without hesitation, Xiao Fan hit his ear suddenly, and the bone spear directly penetrated the back of the white shirt, and then the bone spear in Xiao Fan's hand shook. The white shirt was immediately turned into a pile of minced meat. This guy who had never turned his head to pretend, never showed his face from the beginning to the end. At the same time, Yu Wenli rushed towards Xiao Fan at the same time as Xiao Fan made a move, hugged Hu Miao directly, and then returned to Xiao Fan's side. Although this is the first time for Yu Wenli to cooperate with Xiao Fan, and even the first time for Yu Wenli to make a move after awakening the power, but I have to say that the cooperation between her and Xiao Fan is very tacit. The two of them seem to have a tacit understanding. The fit is seamless, but at this moment, the humanoid interstellar iron beetles surrounding Xiao Fan suddenly opened their mouths. And they were about to spew out that indestructible corrosive liquid. Yu Wenli didn't know what these weird guys in front of him wanted to do, but Xiao Fan really knew their intentions very well. Xiao Fan suddenly took out the body of the pale golden interstellar iron beetle from his supernatural space, and slammed it at those guys in front of him. Then he and Yu Wenli grabbed Hu Miao, turned over and came to the pale golden interstellar the other side of the iron beetle corpse, and those interstellar iron beetles behind them also sprayed out that terrifying corrosive liquid. At this moment, all the corrosive liquid was shot onto the body of the light golden interstellar iron beetle, but it did not cause any harm to the body of the interstellar iron beetle, and was even reflected. Chapter 66 Encounter. Xiao Fan and Yu Wenli were taken aback, and hurriedly took Hu Miao through the window and flew down the residential building. Of course, Xiao Fan still put away the body of the light golden interstellar iron beetle. When they fell on the ground, the entire residential building had been completely destroyed. I don't know how many people have become wronged souls in their sleep. Hu Miao was overly stimulated by the scene in front of her. After all, she was just an ordinary girl, so she passed out directly. At this time, 6 interstellar iron beetles flew out from the ruins of the residential building. Yu Wenli threw an energy ball out, and the energy ball exploded violently in the air, and the 6 interstellar iron beetles that had just flew up were instantly blown to pieces. Xiao Fan couldn't help sighing. It's so powerful. It's just a pity that I don't know if those crystal nuclei can still be found. Yu Wenli said, "You can't blame me for this. I didn't know that it has such a great power. Besides, I did everything according to your request." Xiao Fan thought about it for a while, and he had indeed said before that he wanted Yu Wenli not to hold back at all. It seemed that the woman in front of her was really obedient, and she was merciless in her attacks. Xiao Fan smiled wryly. "I don't mean to blame you, just waste it. Let's get out of here right now. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to explain if we are seen." Yu Wenli nodded, took Hu Miao into the car with Xiao Fan, and drove away quickly. Yu Wenli suddenly asked in the car, "I know you must know more secrets. Since I have recognized you as the master, I will follow your command in everything. Can you share the secrets you know with me?" Xiao Fan thought for a while, and told Yu Wenli everything he could say, but he didn't say a single word that he couldn't say. For example, he was reborn, and the grievances between him and Yu Wenli in the last days complaints, these are absolutely not to be mentioned. Otherwise, with this woman's cleverness, she could immediately think that she was designed by Xiao Fan, and maybe this woman would become distraught. So Xiao Fan never mentioned these things, and never gave this woman any excuses or opportunities to repent. After listening to Xiao Fan's explanation, the expression on Yu Wenli's face was very solemn, and she didn't speak for a long time. As if she was digesting this shocking information in her heart, it took a long time for Yu Wenli to say, "Aren't we the few remaining resistant resistors?" Xiao Fan shook his head and replied, "My answer may make you feel very disappointed. I never consider myself a resistor, because these 3 words will constrain me, as if it makes me take some responsibility. In fact, I don't want to take any responsibility, I just want to live safely and with dignity." "So we should call ourselves survivors?" Yu Wenli asked, "But aren't we also resisting? If you want to live, let alone live with dignity, you must fight against the interstellar iron beetle. Isn't it like this?" Xiao Fan shook his head and replied earnestly, "At least I don't think so. Because some people are not worthy of any sacrifice for them, such as the righteous traitor before. You thought there was only one among the survivors person," Yu Wenli said. "I understand what you mean. You don't want to take responsibility for anyone other than your own family and friends, right?" Xiao Fan nodded and replied, "You are very right. That's exactly what I mean." Yu Wenli suddenly said, "Thank you for treating me as a friend from the beginning." Xiao Fan said with an embarrassed smile, "Actually, I'm not that noble. Some things you said are right. I really had some intentions for you from the beginning, so why should I care so much about you?" Yu Wenli shyly said, "Don't be so blunt. What an embarrassment it would be if Hu Miao woke up and heard your words." Xiao Fan glanced at Hu Miao in the back seat and said with a smile, "Hu Miao has been greatly stimulated this time, and I don't know when she will wake up. Even if she wakes up, some of her worldview will undergo drastic changes." Yu Wenli sighed softly and said, "Some of my worldview has also changed. Many of the persistence I regarded as principles before are really meaningless when I think about it now. For example, I want to be a strong woman. I want to be a big lady. Now that I think about it, it's really ridiculous." Xiao Fan was about to speak when he suddenly saw a lot of black dots flying towards him in the sky in front of him, because now the sky is already white and it is daytime, so those black dots are very clear. Xiao Fan was taken aback and said, "We are being targeted, and there are quite a few interstellar iron beetles this time. They seem to be attacking us." Yu Wenli also noticed the black spots in the sky, and hurriedly said, "You drive, I will fight back." Suddenly, black liquid swords shot out from the air, and the target was of course Xiao Fan's car. Xiao Fan increased the speed of his car to a maximum of 200 miles per hour, and then used his superb driving skills to shuttle back and forth between the gaps between those corrosive liquids. But the road he passed, as well as the buildings on both sides of the road, began to be destroyed by the corrosive liquid. Even those damn interstellar iron beetles played an advanced attack, and the road ahead was corroded by corrosive liquid to form a huge deep pit. Xiao Fan shouted, "This time I have to use a speeding car. Yuanli, throw your energy ball out as soon as the car is flying, and blow up all those damn bastards to death." The power of the energy ball in Yuanli's hand has reached its maximum value at this time. Yuanli nodded and replied, "I'm fully prepared." You open the skylight. At this time, Xiao Fan's car had arrived in front of the deep pit, and Xiao Fan's car made a leap. At the same time, Yuanli attacked the group of people in the air through the skylight with a powerful energy ball in his hand. The interstellar iron beetle that is desperately attacking itself. The car that Xiao Fan was driving crossed the deep pit very narrowly, and the car experienced a very violent bump. Hu Miao, who was originally lying on the back seat, rolled directly to the bottom of the car at this time. The energy ball that Yuanli attacked violently exploded in the air, and the corpse fragments of the interstellar iron beetles fell to the ground like rain, but they did not kill all the interstellar iron beetles. A few interstellar iron beetles flew into the sky and escaped in a hurry. Although it can be said that Xiao Fan and the others won the battle this time, they completely destroyed all the buildings in a radius of tens of miles, and how many people died in their sleep. The scope of this kind of battle destruction is too large. Chapter 67. What's wrong with me? Why do I feel like my whole body is hurt? Xiao Fan said, "It's alright now, it's safe. But you may have been injured a little, but I don't have time to help you check the injury now. We must leave here as soon as possible and go to our warehouse." When Hu Miao heard Xiao Fan's voice, she still couldn't help crying, and said, "What's going on? How did the world suddenly become like this?" Yuanli comforted, "Hu Miao, you don't have to be too shocked. The world has indeed undergone tremendous changes as you said, but you are very lucky to have Mr. Xiao protecting you. Think about your neighbors, it is really pitiful to die inexplicably in sleep." Hu Miao didn't speak for a long time, lost in thought. Xiao Fan's car is going faster and faster, and now he has to race against time. Hu Miao asked again, "Mr. Xiao, can you tell me what happened?" Xiao Fan also felt that there was no need to hide anything, so she said to Yuanli, "Tell her about it." Yuanli roughly told what she knew, and Hu Miao was even more shocked after listening. After another period of silence, he asked, "Mr. Xiao, can you think of a way to awaken my abilities too? I want to be like Mr. Yu, and I want to be your assistant like her, fighting side by side with you. I don't want to be your burden. To be your burden, it makes me very painful." Xiao Fan said helplessly, "It's not that I don't want to help you awaken your abilities, but that you don't have the potential to awaken your abilities. If I force you to awaken your abilities, there will only be a terrible consequence. That is, you may explode and die. Death. So you can't awaken your abilities for the time being. Fang Lin is doing related research. Maybe I can help you awaken your abilities after the results of her research come out in the future." After hearing Xiao Fan's words, Hu Miao looked at Yuanli in the passenger seat and felt a deep sense of frustration. She knew that she couldn't be by Xiao Fan's side all the time because she couldn't awaken her abilities. Xiao Fan will soon no longer need her, which makes Hu Miao feel her heart hurts. Xiao Fan was concentrating on driving and didn't see the change in Hu Miao's expression. Yuanli said very caringly, "Hu Miao, in fact, you don't have to think too much. If you don't have any place in Mr. Xiao's heart, he won't take me on an adventure to save you. Fang Lin will not be invited to conduct related research. All you need to do now is to wait patiently, and one day the research will be successful, and you will become like me." Yuanli has really changed a lot now. The great changes that the world is undergoing now, and the more drastic changes that will be faced in the future have caused drastic changes in some of her thinking and understanding. It was absolutely impossible for her to comfort Hu Miao in this way, but now she thinks that cheering up Hu Miao will be of great benefit to herself, because even if she is a power awakener, she still needs a strong team as much as possible in the apocalypse, which can ensure that she can obtain a higher quality of survival in the apocalypse. Any person, no matter what kind of abilities he has, when he knows that the world is about to change drastically and he knows that he will become extremely lonely, he hopes to keep as many high quality friends as possible around him. Although Hu Miao is not a power awakener, he is a high quality friend. In fact, Yuanli is also a manifestation of fear. Facing the coming end of the world, she also has a deep sense of uncertainty in her heart, worrying that everyone around her will leave her one by one. That's why she cherishes everyone around her exceptionally now, such as comforting Hu Miao so carefully. Now Hu Miao's complexion improved slightly, but she was still very ugly. About an hour later, It was already 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. Xiao Fan brought Yu Wenli and Humi out of the warehouse of Xiao Group. There was already a new batch of stock here. All the slimy faces were brought into his own supernatural space. Because these two women know that the end times are coming, it is no secret to them that Xiao Fan is a supernatural being, so there is no need for Xiao Fan to deliberately hide them from them. But when they saw the material like a hill being taken into their supernatural space by Xiao Fan in a blink of an eye, they were still deeply shocked. Yu Wenli is a little bit better. After all, she is also a supernatural person, especially Hu Miao, whose mouth is so big that a fist can be stuffed in, and he's extremely envious in his heart. He doesn't know when he can have the same ability as Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan walked up to Hu Miao and said softly, I know that your heart is very complicated now, but I don't have time to comfort you too much, but I can assure you, I will never abandon you at any time, and once it is possible for ordinary people to awaken their abilities, I swear you must be the first batch. Hu Miao, a woman, helped Xiao Fan a lot in just a few days. Why Xiao Fan's power space has so many material reserves, in fact, a large part of it is Hu Miao's credit. In this sense, Xiao Fan will never disappoint Hu Miao. Although Xiao Fan only said a few short words, Hu Miao immediately felt a warm current flow through her body, her mood suddenly brightened, and her whole spirit was lifted. Yu Wenli shook her head slightly, and glanced at Xiao Fan. This stinky man doesn't know how many women are gathered around him, and what are you? But soon she threw this idea out again. Facing the end of the world, many things are no longer important. The most important thing is, besides Xiao Fan, who else is qualified to be worthy of her now? Xiao Fan's phone rang, and Xiao Fan answered the call. Fan, where are you now? Why haven't I seen you for several days? I'm really scared right now. I don't know why. As soon as I woke up, I saw a neighborhood outside turned into flat ground. It was Yankin who called. This woman was frightened as soon as she woke up. The entire neighborhood outside was destroyed silently by the interstellar iron beetle. This almost completely broke her mood, so she made this call, and Xiao Fan was extremely shocked when he received this call. Yankin has been living in Zishan Villa, where such a serious attack of the interstellar iron beetle happened. Could it be that the interstellar iron beetle really launched an indiscriminate attack? Xiao Fan quickly opened the web page and started checking the news. Chapter 68 Rescue the Beautiful Manager. Xiao Fan said to Yang Can, I'll tell you an address, you hurry there immediately and wait for me there. So Xiao Fan told Fang Lin's house the address of the underground warehouse, and then asked Yang Can to go there immediately. Naturally, Yang Can would not have any delay at this time. Xiao Fan thought for a while and made a few phone calls, respectively notifying Zhang Weilin, Mu Hong, and Qiao Yun to go there immediately. Yu Wenli dissatisfied, you made so many calls just now, it seems that they are all women. Xiao Fan looked at Hu Miao and said with an awkward smile, we're all friends, so we should help out for a while. Immediately afterwards, he changed the subject and said, you've all seen it without telling me, the apocalypse is coming soon. I prepared an apocalypse base in advance, you should go there too. Hu Miao asked, then where are you going? Xiao Fan replied calmly, I can't go there yet, because there is one thing I haven't fully understood yet, that is, how does the interstellar iron beetle find me every time? I have some conjectures, and I have to go there, verify it. Before that, I can't stay with you, that will only harm you. Yu Wenli said, I can help you, I want to be with you, I don't want to hide. Xiao Fan thought for a while and replied, you send Hu Miao there first, and then you contact me. Only then did Yu Wenli nodded in agreement. Hu Miao said, then you must be careful. Xiao Fan nodded. Yu Wenli drove away with Hu Miao. Xiao Fan let out a long sigh of relief. He doesn't have a specific destination now, and he doesn't plan to go to a specific place. He just wants to walk aimlessly like this, to see if he can find the interstellar iron beetle. If possible. He even has a very crazy idea, which is to capture an interstellar iron beetle alive, and then torture him to see if he can get a statement from the interstellar iron beetle. What specific method do these guys use to position themselves? Before, he judged that the interstellar iron beetle could not locate himself, which was obviously different from the reality. This time, the attack of the interstellar iron beetle on him can clearly illustrate this point, but Xiao Fan hadn't left for a long time when his cell phone rang. In fact, due to the large-scale destruction of buildings, the signal of the cell phone was also greatly affected, and the call was not so clear, but I knew it was Tan Fifei calling. Mr. Xiao, can you help me now? I really don't know who to ask for help. I don't think I can live anymore. I'm really going to die." Xiao Fan suddenly remembered the female manager of this restaurant, and she really forgot about her before. Xiao Fan asked curiously, "I'm very confident from what you're saying now. There shouldn't be any problem with your body. What happened to you?" Tan Fifei cried. "I have been trying my best to urge you to produce meals these days. Just now I came to the underground cold storage to check whether the stock is still sufficient and whether raw materials are needed, but I don't know why I was trapped in the cold curry face. I can't go out." Then the call was interrupted. Xiao Fan checked his phone. There was still a signal. This means that the signal at Tan Fifei's place was completely destroyed, and the woman's place was probably attacked by an interstellar iron beetle, so the building and the signal tower were completely damaged. Of course, the electricity must have been damaged. Tan Fifei was trapped in the cold. Curry would definitely not freeze to death, but if he didn't save her, he would not survive for long, because he would be hypoxic. Xiao Fan thought about it for a while, and decided to save this woman. This is because no matter what the purpose of this woman is, she is really serving herself wholeheartedly, and she has never done anything to be sorry for herself. This is the principle of Xiao Fan's life. So Xiao Fan found a car on the side of the road, violently opened the door, and then came a simple, rude and effective keyless start, and rescued Tan Fifei as quickly as possible. Tan Fifei should feel very fortunate. Because of her own kindness, not only did she escape the wrath of Xiao Fan's thunder, but now she can get a second chance to be reborn. When he came to Min restaurant, Xiao Fan found that not only the restaurant was completely in ruins, but all the buildings within a 5-kilometer radius around it were also in ruins. I don't know how many people died in this way in a days. This is only the destruction of a small number of interstellar iron beetles. If the army of interstellar iron beetles arrives, one can imagine how tragic the destruction will be. Relying on his powerful memory, Xiao Fan still accurately judged the exact location of Min restaurant in the ruins. At this time, these ruins are still very corrosive, which means that Xiao Fan has a powerful ability to deal with this kind of food. Corrosion has a certain immunity, plus it is reborn and has very rich combat experience in the last days, otherwise there is no possibility for others to step into these ruins. Xiao Fan judged the location of the cold storage of Min restaurant based on his own memory. The specific location is very easy to judge, because this is a restaurant after all, and the location of the cold storage must be close to the back kitchen. It may be far away from the back kitchen, because that is not conducive to the work of the back kitchen. Xiao Fan took out a bone spear and began to clean up the ruins on the cold storage. After some hard work, the top of the cold storage was exposed. This is why when Xiao Fan chooses an underground base, he must choose the deeper the basement, the better, because no matter how corrosive the interstellar iron beetle's liquid is, there is always a limit, and the basement above this limit is safe of. Xiao Fan then began to stab into the cold storage with a bone spear. This bone spear was made of interstellar iron beetle bones. It could be said to be indestructible. It easily penetrated the reinforced concrete at the top of the cold storage. Tan Fifei inside was already in despair, and she felt very difficult to breathe, and she also realized this very terrible problem, that is, the oxygen in the cold storage is getting less and less. Suddenly a bone spear pierced into the cold storage, bringing fresh air immediately, which made Tan Fifei, who was having trouble breathing, start breathing greedily. Xiao Fan thrust out more than 20 spears one after another, forcibly opening a hole in the cold storage. Xiao Fan entered the cold storage through this hole. Tan Fifei really didn't expect that Xiao Fan would come to rescue her when she asked for help. Excited, she threw herself into Xiao Fan's arms and burst into tears. This is completely a corner, weeping with joy. At this moment, suddenly a lot of interstellar iron beetles flew from far and near in the sky. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 The Mystery of the Ring Imprint. Tan Fifei stopped crying immediately, and looked at the sky through the hole in horror. Her hands were still tightly hugging Xiao Fan's neck. Xiao Fan said, "You hide here first, I will go out and solve the troubles outside, and then I will save you." Tan Fifei asked, "Mr. Xiao, be careful yourself," Tan Fifei said very reluctantly and let go of Xiao Fan's neck. Just as Xiao Fan was about to leave, Tan Fifei shouted again, "Mr. Xiao, you must not leave me. I am very obedient. I will follow you from now on, okay?" At this time, Xiao Fan didn't care about what Tan Fifei meant by saying this, and simply said, "Don't worry, since I can come to save you, I won't abandon you again." Only then did Tan Fifei's beautiful eyes feel a little more secure. Although she is just an ordinary woman, she can also feel that the world has changed dramatically, and it is a catastrophic change. She must find someone she can rely on to survive. Among all the people she knows, only Xiao Fan can have this ability, so she decided to hold on to Xiao Fan as a life-saving straw. Xiao Fan is really the only hope for her. Xiao Fan jumped out of the hole and looked in the direction of the interstellar iron beetle. There were more than a dozen of them. These iron beetles were obviously deliberately destroying while flying, and they kept spraying corrosive liquid from their mouths. As long as they flew over, they turned into pieces of ruins. Xiao Fan looked at the scene in front of him, and couldn't help becoming angry. These damn guys were simply destroying and massacring indiscriminately again. Xiao Fan took out 6 bone spears directly from his supernatural space, 3 in each hand, and threw the 6 bone spears at the interstellar iron beetle in the air at the same time. In fact, Xiao Fan misunderstood this time. These interstellar iron beetles really did not come specifically for Xiao Fan. They were carrying out orders to destroy buildings and spray corrosive liquids indiscriminately in the air. It just happened to have an encounter with Xiao Fan, and they actually did not expect to encounter Xiao Fan, so facing Xiao Fan's sudden attack, they didn't even dodge the first time. The 6 interstellar iron beetles instantly stabbed. Just when they were shocked and dazed by the attack on their companions, Xiao Fan's second wave of attacks came again, this time with 6 bone spears again. After 2 waves of sudden attacks, all the interstellar iron beetles in the sky have been wiped out. It's not that the interstellar iron beetles are too fragile, or that they are not strong, but because Xiao Fan has 50 years of experience in fighting them. What's more, the weapon that Xiao Fan used in the capital was designed to defeat them, which is why he achieved such a result. If it was someone else who faced the interstellar iron beetle, I'm afraid they could only be slaughtered by the interstellar iron beetle. Xiao Fan quickly rushed to the place where the corpses of the interstellar iron beetles fell. Xiao Fan first put away his bone spear, then took out the crystal nuclei of these interstellar iron beetles, and pulled out all their bones. The raw materials of the bone-forming spear are very important and cannot be discarded. As for the corpse, there is already a corpse of the interstellar iron beetle in Xiao Fan's power space, so there is no point in continuing to ask for the corpse. Just when Xiao Fan was about to leave after finishing all this, the head of an interstellar iron beetle caught Xiao Fan's attention. There is actually a very peculiar silver-white circular imprint on the head of this interstellar iron beetle, which looks like a tattoo. But Xiao Fan feels that it is not a tattoo. Xiao Fan looked at the heads of other interstellar iron beetles, and there was no such mark. Xiao Fan's intuition told himself that this imprint must be very extraordinary and has its own special purpose. Xiao Fan intends to use a bone spear to cut off this circular imprint. However, when the bone spear in his hand touched the circular imprint, a very strange scene happened. The already killed interstellar iron beetle, even his bones were pulled out by Xiao Fan, and it unexpectedly took shape. Change, become Xiao Fan's own appearance. Xiao Fan was taken aback. It turned out that this ring-shaped imprint had such a special attack ability that it could change its own form. This also explained why the interstellar iron beetles that Xiao Fan saw before turned into humans, but Xiao Fan immediately realized another problem. Why didn't the interstellar iron beetles that changed their forms in front of him before have such marks? Xiao Fan immediately took out the body of the pale golden interstellar iron beetle from his supernatural space, and began to examine the corpse carefully. There was indeed no such mark on the head, but he found such a mark on the abdomen of the pale golden interstellar iron beetle imprint. It turns out that the position of such a mark is not fixed. Why is it so? Xiao Fan couldn't help but fell into deep thought, and suddenly Xiao Fan had a very bold guess. Does every interstellar iron beetle have a different body structure, which leads to different interstellar iron beetles wanting to change their shape, and need to trigger the start point of this change from different parts of their body? If your guess is correct, then can these imprints be used by yourself? As long as you find a suitable activation point on yourself, can you also change your form, become an interstellar iron beetle, and then mix with the interstellar iron beetle? Among them, launch an assassination operation against them. Because of his bold guess, Xiao Fan became a little excited. If his guess came true, He could take the initiative to attack. He didn't have to be so passive. He waited for the interstellar iron beetle to hide him, and then fought back. Maybe even because of the change of his form, he can also gain the ability to fly. As Xiao Fan's thoughts became more and more crazy, his mood became more and more excited, but he became more and more cautious about the ring-shaped silver mark, and he didn't dare to cut it off like before. He became very careful for fear of destroying this imprint. This is an extremely powerful imprint, and it can even change the shape of a corpse. It would be a pity if it was destroyed by myself. Xiao Fan observed carefully for a while, finally decided to do it, tripled the cutting area, and then used his own bone spear to cut off the ring-shaped silver mark from the head of the interstellar iron beetle. The body of the interstellar iron beetle immediately recovered. The light golden interstellar iron beetle imprint was not cut off, but was temporarily stored in Xiao Fan's own supernatural space, because Xiao Fan is worried that if the thing he cut is invalid, he can destroy one mark by himself, and there is no need to destroy two marks. Chapter 70 Exploring the Mysterious Imprint. After all, some parts, such as his own back, are difficult for Xiao Fan to deal with. It would be much more convenient if Tan Fifei could help. Xiao Fan quickly returned to the cold storage. Tan Fifei, who had been waiting very anxiously for a long time, saw that Xiao Fan kept his promise and came back. She rushed to Xiao Fan with joy, hugged him tightly and said excitedly, "Mr. Xiao, thank you very much for always supporting me, did not abandon me." Xiao Fan patted her on the back and comforted her, "You also did your best for me, so naturally I won't ignore you. Now I need your help for one thing." Tan Fifei immediately let go of Xiao Fan, and asked pleasantly, "Just ask Mr. Xiao what he needs me to do. As long as I can do it, I will definitely not let Mr. Xiao down." For Tan Fifei, she was flattered to be asked for help by Xiao Fan, which made her feel that she was still of great value to Xiao Fan, so Tan Fifei felt pleasantly surprised. Xiao Fan took out a black skin of the interstellar iron beetle and said, "Have you seen this thing? After a while, stick it on my back. Be very careful, and don't miss any part of my back. I can't stop until I tell you to stop, understand?" Tan Fifei was very baffled. She didn't understand why Xiao Fan asked herself to do this, but she still agreed. Without further ado, Xiao Fan took off his shirt completely, and then said to Tan Fifei, "You stick the back for me first, and if the back is useless, I stick my face and my front myself." Tan Fifei blushed slightly, but at this time Xiao Fan was all focused on whether the mark would be effective for her, so naturally she didn't notice the subtle changes in Tan Fifei's expression. Tan Fifei took the piece of skin and came behind Xiao Fan. Looking at the muscles on Xiao Fan's back, she couldn't help but feel flustered. This man is so strong. Just now, she was only shy and didn't pay attention to his muscles. It's just now that it's so perfect. Tan Fifei couldn't help stretching out her jade hand to gently caress the strong muscle mass, but Xiao Fan didn't care. Tan Fifei couldn't help but caressed again. Xiao Fan got really impatient and asked, "Tan Fifei, what's the matter and you still don't do it? Time is very precious, the enemy may come at any time, hurry up." Tan Fifei just woke up from the intoxication. Her pretty face was like a blushing apple, so beautiful. I hurriedly began to pace Xiao Fan's back one by one, being very careful and attentive, for fear of missing anyone, because this was Xiao Fan's request, and she naturally had to do it wholeheartedly according to Xiao Fan's request, but there was no omission on the entire back, and all of them were pasted, but the firefighters didn't feel anything special. Xiao Fan started to paste his own head, chest, abdomen, hands and arms, even the top of his head, but it still didn't make Ho-Ho feel any special. "Now that I have tried all of my upper body, I can only try the lower part." Xiao Fan said to Tan Fifei, "Fifei, you turn your back to me, don't turn back unless I tell you." Tan Fifei was completely stunned when she heard Xiao Fan's words. She didn't react at all, and of course she didn't turn around, because now she was in a state of ecstasy, and a thought kept popping up in her mind, that Mr. Xiao just now he called me Fifei, but he actually called me Fifei, not Tan Fifei, nor Manager Tan. He called me Fifei, and Mr. Xiao called me Fifei. Seeing Tan Fifei staring at her stupidly, with a nympho expression on her face, Xiao Fan inexplicably felt her whole body tense up, and muttered, "Since you don't want to turn around, then you just stand here and don't turn around." Verb, move. As Xiao Fan said, he walked around behind Tan Fifei, then got out of the obstacles on his body, and began to try the mark on his lower half. trying it everywhere, even his second brother, and even in the end. Sitting on the ground, it was stuck to the soles of my feet, but there was no reaction at all. At this time, Tan Fifei suddenly turned around and met Xiao Fan's eyes. Xiao Fan yelled, "Close your eyes." Tan Fifei's eyes were wide open. Not only did she not close her eyes, but she stared even wider. Wow, what a powerful spear. Xiao Fan hurriedly straightened her appearance and said, "Fifei, did you deliberately take advantage of me?" At this time, Tan Fifei realized how bad she was just now. She hurriedly lowered her head and murmured, "Mr. Xiao, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to take advantage of you. I won't dare again after I made a mistake." Mr. Xiao begged, "Don't be angry, don't ignore me." Xiao Fan sighed and said, "Forget it, I'm just joking with you. It's just a pity that this thing is a treasure, but I don't know how to use it." Tan Fifei asked, "Mr. Xiao, what kind of treasure is this?" Xiao Fan didn't hide anything, so he just talked about the special features of this ring mark. After hearing this, Tan Fifei plucked up her courage and said, "Mr. Xiao, or let me try it. Maybe this thing is useful for me." Xiao Fan stared at Tan Fifei and said, "But even if it is useful to you, it is not a good thing for you. You have no supernatural powers, let alone fighting skills. Getting such an opportunity will only kill you early." Tan Fifei thought for a while and replied, "Maybe if this thing is really useful for me, even if I don't use it, it can give you some inspiration." Mr. Xiao, Xiao Fan thought about it and said, "Don't say your suggestion is very constructive. But if you really try it on yourself, don't you think you are at a disadvantage?" Tan Fifei shook her head and replied, "I don't think I have any disadvantages. Anyway, I have already taken advantage of it just now. It would be more fair to try it on me." Xiao Fan joked. "I said, Fifei, do you think I'm so handsome, so you already have bad intentions for me?" Tan Fifei almost found a crack in the ground and got down, and said in a mosquito-like voice, "Mr. Xiao, you are too bad. You are not ashamed to make such a joke with a girl." Xiao Fan couldn't help laughing. He was really just making a joke. Of course Tan Fifei's suggestion was really constructive, although Xiao Fan didn't use this ring mark, but in case it is useful to Tan Fifei, then it can also show that this thing can be used on human beings, then maybe it will be useful to you Wenli, Mu Hong and the others. It will also be a big killer in the future. Chapter 71: The Miraculous Mutation. Of course, Xiao Fan can swear that when he looks at the artwork in front of him, he is definitely looking at it with appreciation. Even if he has any bad intentions, he is very pure. If he says something wrong, he has no bad intentions, and he still has a great mission in his heart, which is to explore the mystery of the imprint. Xiao Fan coughed lightly, collected his mind, and began to test whether the imprint was effective for Tan Fifei, but when the imprint was pasted to the round position behind Tan Fifei let out a scream. Xiao Fan hastily apologized, "Fifei, I'm really sorry, maybe my strength is a little stronger, I can't control my strength well, please don't mind." Tan Fifei said, "Mr. Xiao, that's not what I mean. I feel a special energy entering my whole body. It's really a strange feeling. It seems that I have a mysterious power." Xiao Fan couldn't help showing a surprised expression. Could it be that this thing is really used in this way, and is it so magical? Xiao Fan stretched out his finger, and poked the center of the circular imprint fiercely. A very miraculous and incomprehensible scene happened. Tan Fifei's form changed into Xiao Fan's appearance, and she was exactly the same. The key is that the whole body becomes completely consistent. Tan Fifei let out a heart-piercing scream, "Mr. Xiao, why did I become you? Look, I have a big spear exactly like you." Xiao Fan coughed and said, "This thing can now be concluded. It is indeed a very magical device. It can change our shape, and this change of shape is related to the object you see in your eyes. Because I now in front of you, you see me, so you become me." Tan Fifei panicked, "But can I still change back to my original appearance? I don't want to become you. If I really become you, there will be no normal stories between the two of us in the future." Xiao Fan joked, "I think it's good that you are like this. It's not that there will be no normal stories between the two of us in the future, but the stories between us will become even more legendary." Tan Fifei almost cried and said, "Mr. Xiao, stop joking with me, let me change back to my original appearance." Xiao Fan reached out and patted the circular mark, and Tan Fifei once again recovered her original appearance and form. Tan Fifei let out a long sigh of relief and collapsed into Xiao Fan's arms and said, "I was really scared to death just now. Xiao Fan hurriedly said, "We still have to leave here as soon as possible." Tan Fifei reluctantly tidied up her appearance, and asked while tidying up, "Mr. Xiao, did he not look good just now?" Xiao Fan said with an embarrassed smile, "How can it be ugly? What skin Reningzi said should be like you. It's just that the place where we are now is not safe. And I can't figure it out. Why is this thing useful to you?" "I'm useless," Tan Fifei said. "Maybe this imprint is useful to me but not to you. If there are other imprints, it may be useful to you but not to me." Xiao Fan patted himself on the forehead and said, "Fifei, I find that sometimes you are very smart, and you can wake up the dreamer with just one word. Why do I only worry about this imprint in front of me? I still have another imprint. Take it now. Come out and try." Xiao Fan took out the body of the pale golden interstellar iron beetle from his supernatural space, and then took out a bone spear to cut off the imprint on the interstellar iron beetle. Then he took back the body of the interstellar iron beetle, and said to Tan Fifei, "Fifei, now you can help me to try if this mark is useful for me." Tan Fifei on the side looked dumbfounded. Was she dazzled just now, or Xiao Fan is a fairy? Why did she suddenly have it? Suddenly there is no more. Xiao Fan slapped Yuan Gungan behind her in a mischievous manner, and made a crisp sound. Only then did Tan Fifei react, and hurriedly asked, "Mr. Xiao, what did you just say?" Xiao Fan held the light golden skin in his hand and said, "I told you to try this for me again. Why are you so dazed? You look so out of your mind. What are you thinking?" Tan Fifei replied, "Mr. Xiao, I felt like you were a fairy just now." Xiao Fan laughed and said, "That's not a fairy, it's my ability. If you have a chance in the future, I'll let you awaken your own ability." Tan Fifei asked excitedly, "Mr. Xiao, is what you said true or false? Will I be like you one day?" Xiao Fan said with a smile, "It's true. How can I lie to you? Now you can change." Tan Fifei took the imprint from Xiao Fan, and took the initiative to help Xiao Fan remove the obstacles on her body, and said, "Actually, although this ability is very magical, it is not what I want." Xiao Fan didn't make any moves, enjoying Tan Fifei's service, and asked, "Why isn't it what you want? Isn't this skill magical?" Tan Fifei said with a bitter face, "What I see turns into what I see. What's so magical? If I saw a dog turn into a dog, how terrible it would be. Will Mr. Xiao still like me?" Xiao Fan joked, "It's not that if you become a dog, you will become a dog forever, and you can change back again. Now you may not be used to it, but I believe that after you get used to this skill, you'll love it." Soon all the obstacles on Xiao Fan's body were removed. Tan Fifei once again helped Xiao Fan start experimenting with the light golden ring mark. When Tan Fifei blushed and put the ring mark on the spear, Xiao Fan's face showed made a very weird expression. Tan Fifei shyly said, "Mr. Xiao, do you have other needs? If you want, I will not object." Xiao Fan smiled wryly. "Would you believe me if I said that this thing works for me now?" Tan Fifei subconsciously squeezed it hard with her hand, and a miraculous scene happened. Xiao Fan completely changed into Tan Fifei's appearance. Tan Fifei shouted, "Mr. Xiao, your spear is gone. What to do? What to do? Why have you become exactly like me?" "Mr. Xiao, I don't want you to become like me. You should quickly change back to yourself. I still like your spear very much. Hurry up and change back, Mr. Xiao. You are exactly like me now. It just makes me feel too weird." Chapter 72 The First Air Confrontation. He joked, "Now I feel that I am extremely powerful." Tan Fifei begged, "Mr. Xiao, quickly change back to yourself." In fact, Xiao Fan didn't like transforming, so she quickly became herself again. Looking at the reappearing spear, Tan Fifei had a flash of surprise in her eyes. Xiao Fan joked, "Fifei, look at your nympho expression." Tan Fifei shyly said, "Mr. Xiao, how can you say that about a girl? She will be shy." But she held on to the spear and refused to let go at this time. Fang Lin was tidying up the laboratory in her underground warehouse. Yang Yunlin was helping out, and then there were guests coming. First Yang Kan, and after Yang Yun saw her sister, she greeted her very happily. Then Zhang Weilin brought her mother, and then Mu Hong and Mu Ying brought Su Xia. Fang Lin couldn't help complaining in her heart, "Xiao Fan, that pious bastard, how many friends of the opposite sex does he have?" Then Yu Wenli came with Hu Miao, followed by Qiao Yun. In fact, at this time, not only Fang Lin complained in her heart, but the others also began to complain about Xiao Fan. Of course, Everyone also maintained a friendly attitude on the surface and a tacit understanding, but Fang Lin became more and more anxious. Her sister Fang Min and her mother hadn't appeared yet. Zhang Weilin was also a little anxious at this time. Her father clearly said he would come, but he hasn't come yet. Fang Lin took her mobile phone and wanted to call her sister and mother, but she found that she couldn't get through at all, and the signal on her mobile phone became extremely weak. Fang Lin became even more anxious. She didn't have the heart to tidy up the laboratory at all, and wanted to call Xiao Fan for help. However, they found that they couldn't get through at all. Xiao Fan's current location was completely destroyed within a 5-kilometer radius, and the signal tower was completely gone. Fang Lin became even more anxious. She was a little confused and didn't know what to do. Lin Xiao comforted, "Don't be too anxious, maybe it's just that you can't get in touch temporarily, maybe you can get in touch after a while, we can keep calling, maybe we don't know when we will be able to get through. It seems that there is no better way, and we can only follow Lin Xiao's instructions." Finally, half an hour later, Fang Lin dialed Xiao Fan's cell phone. "Professor Fang, what do you want me to do? I am in a very high position and the signal is not very good. If you want to speak, you must speak loudly." Fang Lin didn't understand what Xiao Fan said. Of course, if she could see Xiao Fan flying in the sky, she would be able to understand Xiao Fan's words. Xiao Fan's current form is a pale golden interstellar iron beetle, and on his back is carrying Tan Fifei, who is as weak as mud and has been stabbed thousands of times by a spear. Xiao Fan turned into an interstellar iron beetle, and even gained the ability to fly. This is another discovery that surprised Xiao Fan. In the future, he can often appear in the form of an interstellar iron beetle, and then mix into the interstellar iron beetle. Sudden massacre or assassination, Fang Lin shouted loudly, "Mr. Xiao, I have something very important to ask you for help. My sister and my mother clearly promised to come to the underground base soon, but they haven't come yet. I am very worried. Mr. Xiao, can you go and see my mother and sister for me? If they encounter any trouble, please help them." Xiao Fan replied. "Don't worry, leave this matter to me, don't worry, tell me your home address, I'll rush over to have a look right now." After getting the address of Fang Lin's home, Xiao Fan hurried over before she could send Tan Fifei to the base. After all, human life is at stake and we still need to race against time to do it. Xiao Fan was flying very fast in the sky, but suddenly Xiao Fan found 7 interstellar iron beetles flying towards him. Xiao Fan was taken aback and was ready to fight, but soon realized that he was afraid of a bird now. He was also an interstellar iron beetle, and he was a higher level interstellar iron beetle, so Xiao Fan flew towards the interstellar iron beetle on the opposite side, and the two sides met in the air soon. Both of them hovered in the air, and suddenly the 7 interstellar iron beetles on the opposite side showed a very vigilant look towards Xiao Fan. It seemed that the other party was ready to fight at any time, and of course Xiao Fan was also ready to fight at any time, but Xiao Fan was very surprised by the opponent's performance. Why did the other party take a defensive posture of fighting without any communication between the two sides? Is there any flaw in myself that the other party sees out? Is it because of Tan Fifei on the back? But even Tan Fifei on the back should not let the other party take a fighting posture, because he is a higher level interstellar iron beetle. Even if the other party has any questions, he dare not offend him like this, but should ask clearly first what is the problem. In fact, this time Xiao Fan ignored a very important issue. Although he is now in the form of an interstellar iron beetle, he even has the flying skills of an interstellar iron beetle. However, they don't know anything about the means of communication between the interstellar iron beetles. Just now, the 7 interstellar iron beetles and Xiao Fan had a special communication between the interstellar iron beetles. Xiao Fan didn't respond at all. This makes the other party become vigilant all of a sudden. Xiao Fan soon thought of the subtleties, and knew where his negligence was. Fortunately, my current form is a light golden interstellar iron beetle, which makes the other party dare not attack me rashly, otherwise, it would have been very dangerous just now. Thinking of this, Xiao Fan didn't dare to have any hesitation anymore, and instantly recovered her body in the air, and Tan Fifei fell directly from his back, screaming in horror in the air, but Xiao Fan didn't care about Tan Fifei at all at this time. He took out 6 bone spears from his supernatural space instantly, and threw them at the opponent's 6 interstellar iron beetles at the same time, and then took out another bone spear and threw it. It turned into the form of the interstellar iron beetle again, dived down to meet and rescue Tan Fifei who is falling fast, When Tan Fifei was nearly 100 meters from the ground, Xiao Fan caught her with his back, and Tan Fifei, still in shock, couldn't help laughing. Xiao Fan was puzzled and said, "Fifei, are you too stimulated? It's my fault. I just focused on fighting and didn't protect you immediately. You won't have neurological problems, right?" Chapter 73. Mother and daughter work together to capture Xiao Fan. Only then did Xiao Fan feel relieved and said, "I have to play like this in the future, it's too dangerous." Tan Fifei smiled and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Xiao, if you really don't have time to save me, I'm going to turn into the leaves I saw, and then fall to the ground. I won't die." Xiao Fan smiled wryly. "You nymphomaniac, you're still so scheming." Tan Fifei giggled and said, "Even if he is a nympho, it's just your nympho." Xiao Fan thought for a while and said, "Fifei, you know the address of the underground base now, you can go there by yourself. Don't be so ostentatious like me. I don't know how many dangers I will encounter when I go to save people now. You and being around me will only increase the danger for no reason." Tan Fifei thought for a while and said, "I know that I am your burden now, and I can't help you fight yet. But I believe that sooner or later, I will be able to stand by your side and fight side by side with you." Xiao Fan nodded and said, "I believe you can, and the day won't be too long." After Tan Fifei left, Xiao Fan breathed a sigh of relief. Although this woman acquired the ability to change form very unexpectedly, she has no combat power, and being by her side can only become a burden. But this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that she herself will be very dangerous. Xiao Fan also doesn't want her to take risks with him. Xiao Fan flew high into the sky again, and soon found Fang Lin's address. Xiao Fan looked at the ruins on the ground, and immediately had a very bad premonition, because many buildings around Fang Lin's house were destroyed. Although some buildings survived, I don't know if Fang Lin's house is still there. These damn interstellar iron beetles have not yet descended on a large scale, but they have brought terrible damage to this planet. Xiao Fan returned to his original form, descended to the top of a building, and began to compare information. Xiao Fan was very pleasantly surprised to find that this building is where Fang Lin's house is located. This is a townhouse. Xiao Fan quickly went downstairs, found Fang Lin's house, and then rang the doorbell, but there was no response for a long time. Xiao Fan couldn't help saying oops to himself. This is the situation that Xiao Fan is most worried about. That is, people are not at home, and they don't know where their mother and daughter have gone, or even if they are in danger, you don't even know what to look for. Xiao Fan was still very unwilling to give up, and directly used his great strength to pull open the anti-theft door. Then Xiao Fan went in to check if Fang Min and his mother were at home. When I walked into the room, I knew that Fang's mother was definitely a very clean and well-organized woman. The huge living room was decorated to make people look pleasing to the eye, but it was empty, without anyone. Xiao Fan couldn't help but sigh and said, "Sure enough, I'm not at home." But he still didn't give up. He walked into a bedroom to check, and just when he walked in, he felt that he was hit hard on the back of the head by a wooden club. This is a situation that Xiao Fan never thought of, because since Xiao Fan entered Fang's house, he was not vigilant at all, and he subjectively thought that there was no one in Fang's house for the first time. More importantly, his powerful intuition didn't even give any warning of danger, because Xiao Fan subconsciously does not regard a pair of ordinary mother and daughter as a threat at all. Xiao Fan was assassinated in this way. If Xiao Fan was always in a state of vigilance, there would be no danger if the wooden stick was hid on the back of his head, because when he was hit with a wooden stick, the ability will automatically generate a kind of protection to protect him from injury. But when Xiao Fan was not vigilant, his ability did not take the initiative to play a protective role, so Xiao Fan was beaten and passed out. The moment he lost consciousness, Xiao Fan heard a very magnetic and pleasant voice of a mature woman shouting in surprise, "Daughter, daughter, I hit him." When Xiao Fan woke up again, it was because a bowl of cold water was poured on his face. Then Xiao Fan opened his eyes and found that his whole body was tied to a chair with various kinds of ropes all over his body. The most annoying thing was that a sheet was tied around his stomach. He saw a pair of very beautiful sisters standing in front of him. If you take a closer look, you can find that the two sisters are very similar to Fang Lin. Of course, Xiao Fan knows one of the beautiful women, Fang Min. Xiao Fan quickly guessed the identity of the other sister. She must be Fang Lin's mother. Fang Min stared at Xiao Fan and said angrily, "You big nasty monster, why did you come to our house in the form of Xiao Fan? Hurry up and tell me what your intentions are. If you don't tell the truth, be careful what I hold." Knife? Do you know that there is a kind of person called eunuch on our planet? Fang Min shook the fruit knife in his hand while talking, and Fang Min's mother waved a kitchen knife in her hand like a demonstration. Xiao Fan smiled wryly. Fang Min, I told you not to be smart, okay? Why did I become Xiao Fan? I am Xiao Fan. I came here to save you. Fang Lin has been in touch with you for a long time. I can't reach you, so I asked you to come to your house, and I didn't expect you to plot against me. Fang Min's mother looked at Fang Min and said, eldest daughter, did we misunderstand him? Maybe he really came to save us. You see, what he said has a beginning and an end. It doesn't seem like he's lying. Fang Min hated iron and said, I said mother, can you not be so soft at the ears? You can believe whatever he says? Don't you forget that we saw a big monster fall on the roof with our own eyes, and then he just appeared. How could there be such a coincidence? He must be that big monster. Fang Min's mother nodded and said, eldest daughter, what you said is very reasonable, and it can be completely explained logically. It seems that he is that big monster who deliberately turned into this shape to deceive us. Xiao Fan looked at Fang Min's mother. This woman is not only beautiful, but also a talent. Fang Min said that his mother is a very soft-eared person, and it seems that her evaluation is very accurate. Xiao Fan smiled wryly and said, Fang Min, I really am Xiao Fan. If you don't believe me, I can tell you everything that happened when we met for the first time. Now you should believe it. Chapter 74 Xiao Fan, you take advantage of me. Xiao Fan looked at Fang Min's mother and praised, sister, what you said is too reasonable, please let me go? Fang Min's mother shook her head and said, you look handsome, but don't lie to me. You haven't described the situation when you met my eldest daughter in detail, how could I let you go? What if you turn into a monster and eat me as soon as I let you go? Fang Min looked at his mother and said speechlessly, I said, mother, can you not be so soft on your ears, and you will believe what anyone says? Maybe this guy can tell the scene where he met me verbatim, but what if he was a monster in the first place? Xiao Fan smiled wryly and said, Fang Min, can you stop being smart? In fact, the reason why I asked you to take the initiative to untie me is just to keep the tension between us unchanged. You think you are really using these ropes? Can you tie me up? Fang Min sneered and said, put away your tricks, you think I'm my mother, and you can fool me casually. Xiao Fan said helplessly, I spent my heart and soul with you, and you actually thought I was fooling you? Well, I will prove it to you now. Am I fooling you? As soon as Xiao Fan spoke, all the muscles in his body began to tense up. Boom. Almost at the same moment, the densely packed ropes on his body broke at the same time. Fang Min's mother screamed in fright, but raised a knife in her hand and slashed at Xiao Fan's head. Xiao Fan stretched out his hand and easily grabbed Fang Min's mother's wrist. His hands were silky smooth. Xiao Fan easily snatched the kitchen knife from her hand, then threw it aside, looked at the stunned Fang Min and said, I said now you should believe my words. If I really want to hurt your mother and daughter, Fang Min, you tell me yourself, even if there are 10,000 of you, I will easily destroy all of you. Fang Min didn't give up and asked, I'm sure that you transformed that big monster, can you explain what's going on? Xiao Fan asked back, but you mother and daughter, can you explain to me why you are still unwilling to go to the underground base after you clearly agreed to go? Fang Min smiled wryly and said, do you think our mother and daughter don't want to leave? It's all my mother's fault. Originally, we would not encounter any danger if we set off 10 minutes earlier. But my mother insisted on saying that she recognized the bed and wanted the bed is moved together. Isn't this a joke? How can the two of us move such a heavy bed? There is no way. I can only persuade my mother to take away only the bedding and pillows on her bed. Fang Min's mother said helplessly, but I didn't expect that so many monsters would fly in the sky after only a delay of 10 minutes, and then everything around them would be destroyed. It's the people in our building. Some people wanted to rush out to escape, but they had just passed through the ruins, and they turned into rubbish in an instant. It was terrible. So we could only stay at home and dare not go anywhere. Originally, I wanted to call and tell Lin all of this, but the mobile phone has no signal, so I can't get through at all. Only then did Xiao Fan understand what was going on. Fang Min continued, I've told you everything about us, now shouldn't you explain why you can become a monster? Fang Min's mother also nodded and echoed, yes, how can you become a monster? Could it be that you were a monster in the first place? Xiao Fan didn't want to talk about this at first. But there's no need to hide it at this time, because if she keeps hiding it, the mother and daughter will have a knot on their hearts, and it will be true if they will cooperate obediently with her on the road. No way. So Xiao Fan said, Actually, not only can I become a monster, but I can also become you. I become a monster just to be able to come here better. Finding you is a kind of cover for my identity, understand? Fang Min's mother asked very curiously, you can still become us? We don't believe it at all. You try to change into one, let us see if it is true or not. Xiao Fan put his hands into his trouser pockets in embarrassment and said, then I will become your sister. Fang Min's mother nodded and replied, then you will become my sister. Fang Min looked at his mother very dissatisfied and said, Mom, can you use your brain before you speak? He deliberately called your sister to take advantage of me, and you actually cooperated with him so much that he deliberately took advantage of me. I'm cheap. Do you want me to call him uncle? Fang Min's mother looked at Xiao Fan very seriously and asked, you don't really want to take advantage of my eldest daughter, do you? Xiao Fan shook his head seriously and replied, sister, don't worry, even if I want to take advantage of you, I will never take advantage of your eldest daughter. I can assure you of this. Fang Min roared angrily, Xiao Fan, you bastard, are you trying to take advantage of my sister? But I am her sister, and if you take advantage of her, you are taking advantage of me. Fang Min's mother kept a very clear mind and said, Min, don't dwell on such boring questions now, it doesn't make any difference who he takes advantage of. Let Xiao Fan change quickly, Mom and I can't wait, I want to take a look quickly. Mom, I've never seen such a wonderful thing, so don't bother with those things that are there or not. Xiao Fan was speechless for a while. Fang Min's mother not only looked very young and beautiful, but also had a very young mind. She was more curious than her own daughter. If you don't know the true identities of the mother and daughter in advance, you can use the appearance and mentality of the mother and daughter to make a judgment, and you can completely regard Fang Min as a mother. Fang Min's mother is considered a daughter, and it is completely justified. Fang Min also looked at his mother very speechlessly, but he didn't say anything. Fang Min knew better than anyone what kind of person his mother was, so now he was completely powerless to complain. Fang Min's mother saw that Xiao Fan hadn't changed in any way, so she couldn't wait to urge her, Xiao Fan, don't let my sister worry anymore, what ability do you have? Quickly use it, let me see how you turned into me. Yes, I can't wait. Fang Min's mother's voice was anxious and coquettish, it sounded soft, and it really made people never tire of hearing it. Xiao Fan couldn't help having a mischievous idea and said, sister, I actually called you sister because you look very young and really look like a sister. You didn't intend to take advantage of anyone. But Fang Min you said I took advantage of her. Since she said so, if I don't take advantage of her, it really doesn't make sense. You tell Fang Min to call me uncle, and I'll show you. Chapter 75. This damned stinky man just said that he doesn't bother to take advantage of him, but in a blink of an eye he wants to call him uncle. What is going on in his head? I called him uncle because I was out of my mind. Fang Min snorted coldly and was about to get angry when his mother stopped him. Fang Min's mother said, Fang Min, since mother has already recognized this younger brother, it is very right for you to call uncle. Fang Min was speechless for a while. His mother was too incomprehensible, too unreliable, so I could say that. Fang Min's mother went on to say, eldest daughter, what's so embarrassing about this? Isn't it just calling uncle? You don't suffer, it seems that you are very young, and Xiao Fan is the one who suffers. He is older than you for no reason. A generation, and then much older than you. Fang Min almost went crazy when he heard what his mother said. Is there any mother like you? Xiao Fan joked. Fang Min, you want to be a filial daughter, how can you not listen to your mother? Fang Min looked at Xiao Fan and said angrily, shut up, don't get cheap and act good. Fang Min's mother said displeased, eldest daughter, how can you talk to your uncle like that? It's too rude. Hurry up and call uncle to satisfy your mother's curiosity. Fang Min really didn't want to get entangled in this boring question, so he shouted helplessly, uncle, but Fang Min just yelled uncle halfway, but was interrupted by his mother, and heard his mother say, don't yell, this generation is messed up. Fang Min couldn't help complaining in his heart, this damn bastard is about the same age as me. If you recognize him as your younger brother, of course it's because of a messed up seniority. But soon his mother's words made Fang Min realize that his mother and his thinking were not on the same level at all. She heard her mother continue to say, since Xiao Fan is mother's younger brother, you shouldn't call him uncle. You should call him uncle. When Fang Min heard his mother's words, he almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Xiao Fan looked at Fang Min's expression of grief and indignation, but couldn't help but burst out laughing and said, good niece, call me uncle. Fang Min said viciously, uncle. Fang Min had to call out, She knew too well what kind of person her mother was, and the reason why her mother asked her so much was to satisfy her own curiosity, that is, to see if Xiao Fan could change. Be yourself, I'm at a disadvantage, just cooperate with my mother quickly, otherwise my mother will definitely not let me go, then I don't know what more embarrassing things will happen next. Fang Min's mother hurriedly looked at Xiao Fan and smiled. Brother, you see that your niece has already called you uncle, can you become my sister now? Xiao Fan smiled proudly. There is no problem at all, I must satisfy my sister's curiosity. By the way, sister, we have talked for so long, and I still don't know your name. Fang Min's mother replied, my sister's name is Fang Fair. Xiao Fan stretched out a thumb and praised, sister, your name is so beautiful and poetic. Fang Fair proudly said, of course, my sister and I have always thought my name is nice. It seems that we, siblings, really have a common language, and we hate seeing each other too late, Fang Min said with black lines all over his head. Mom, don't you think that your good brother is fooling you? He hasn't changed into your appearance until now. And you are completely led astray by him, Fang Fair hurriedly said. Brother, why did you change the subject? If the eldest daughter hadn't reminded me, I would have almost forgotten such an important thing, Xiao Fan said with a smile. Sister, take care, I will become like you now. Fang Fair stared at Xiao Fan unblinkingly with her big beautiful eyes, and Fang Min also stared at Xiao Fan very curiously. A woman's curiosity is always much stronger than a man's. Although Fang Min is a strong woman type, but still a woman, the mother and daughter just stared at Xiao Fan with big eyes and small eyes, witnessing a miracle. Xiao Fan really changed into Fang Fair's appearance in front of them, and they were exactly the same. Fang Fair was extremely excited and grabbed Xiao Fan's face. Of course, it could be said to be her own face and said, my dear brother, are you a fairy? This is simply a trick of a fairy. How do you do it? Arrived. Can you let my sister also have such a fairy method? Fang Min's Hong also had a flash of envy, jealousy and hatred, but of course it was only a flash, and she quickly covered it up. Xiao Fan recovered her appearance and said with a smile, sister, this era of the end of the world is a huge disaster for us. But it is also a huge opportunity for us, no matter how much we hate those monsters, those interstellar iron beetles. To be honest, they have indeed evolved to a higher level than us. If we can learn more advanced civilizations from them, we will improve ourselves very quickly. For example, the means to change our own form is learned from those monsters. Fang Fair nodded and said, good brother, sister, I finally know what's going on, but can you help my sister so that she can have such means? Xiao Fan nodded and replied, if the opportunity is right, I will definitely help you. Fang Fair said happily, then you must keep your word, remember your promise to sister today, don't fool me. Xiao Fan replied very seriously, sister, don't worry, I always keep my word and will never lie to my sister. But now let's leave here quickly, go to our underground base as soon as possible, and meet Fang Lin. Fang Fair nodded and replied, then sister obeys my younger brother's arrangement and everything. Fang Min said, but how should we get out of here? We can't go downstairs at all now, those ruins are too scary. As long as we come into contact with those ruins, we will also become ruins. Xiao Fan laughed and said, since I'm here to pick you up, everything will be fine. After a while, I'll turn into an interstellar iron beetle, and then you can stay on my back with peace of mind. I'll take you out. Fang Fair shouted excitedly, I really never thought that I would have the opportunity to fly in such a way in my life. Fang Min nodded and said, then let's leave as soon as possible. I don't want to stay here for a moment, it's too dangerous. But Xiao Fan said, I'll go to do something later. Which room is my sister's room? Fang Min asked vigilantly, what are you doing in my mother's room? Do you have any bad intentions? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.